The ever-changing weather around the world. Ever-diverse terrain and roads across the world. With Kumho Tyre that has conquered all. There is no road you cannot go. Go with Kumho. Kumho Tyre.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to your Round 9 V8 Veterans Split Number 2 racing tonight. We are currently at Sandown International Motor Raceway down in Australia, one of those wonderful Australian tracks that iRacing has added to our calendar. So much thank you to them. Tonight, joining me in the booth, unfortunately we have no Nathan Brown. He is currently still working, I believe, so I have a fill-in, and that is none other than Mr. Luke Holland. Welcome, Luke.
Ahoy, how we going?
Not too bad, mate. Ready for a good night of racing from the Split 2 guys?
Absolutely. They always put on a good show, so there they go. Start to run through the grid and we'll kick things off.
Yeah, definitely right here. Look, we're going to 200. I believe tonight is a 300-kilometre race, and I think it was a 97 lap. So these guys would have definitely been very, very sore after this. And I know if I did 97 laps around here in solo, I'd be very uncomfortable. How about you?
Absolutely. I did a couple of officials at 40 laps and I was sore. So 97's a bit of a slog. Go.
All right, guys. We'll let's get into the grid and we'll get this race underway. So starting in pole position, looks like we have Andrew Hoffman in the 51 machine from WKMP Motorsports. Alongside him will be Craig Friend in position number 2 from Old Mate and Sons. In P3 we have Paul Warwick from Fishy Motorsports, and then beside that will be Robbie Griffiths, another car from Fishy Motorsports. So they've got a grid number 2 lockout there.
Second row lockout, well done. So P5 we've got James Bourman, Infinity Motorsport. Alongside him is Mark Horton. We go Glenn Boyce, Stephen Gretsch, and then Chris Miller and Fletcher Christian to round out the top 10.
Down in position number 11 we've got Matt McMillan and Matty Monday beside him. In pitch number 12, number 13, we've got Paul Hayes. Alongside Paul will be Jason DeBattista from Hypersonic Racing. And in position 15, we have Richie Barella from WKMP Sim Sports. Alongside that will be Peter Latham from Shadow Racing.
That's it. Craig Healy in 17th. Starting 18 will be Scott Perrins. Got 19th will be Roderick Hollis. Gary Buckland in 20th. Scotty Rattler, so Scotty Van Loon. He'll from Pecky's Performance. He's in P21 to start off tonight. Jeremy Bush as well, showing up as a privateer. I'm not sure about that in 22. Mark Howard on 23, and beside him is Jason Dunn from Old Mate and Sons.
Moving on further down the grid, we got Peter Vermey in position number 25. Like before, we've got another privateer, so we'll have to get onto these boys, Luke. What do you reckon?
Well, I think Peter might still be a privateer. I'm not sure about that one.
Yeah, we'll have to get onto them anyway to make sure they got their teams all sorted. So Ed Cullen will be alongside Peter in position number 26. Mark Dial, the godfather of the series, in position number 27, alongside Todd Duggan in position number 28. P29 sees Todd Martin from Scorpion Esports, alongside Michael Power from WKMP in position number 30.
All right, so running through the rest of the grid, we've got Chris Burridge, Scott Weston, Peter Kelleher, race control. Very well done to see him qualified so high up. Mr. Whiting, Michael Whiting, and then Simon Farrington. Is that all we got on the list?
And I believe Roderick Hollis is starting from pit lane. So I'm not sure he's not showing up on the grid there. So that's a bit unfortunate for Roderick not being able to set a time, but we'll have to see how he progresses through the field for this race.
Look, he's shown a lot of good form, so hopefully we will see him up the pointy end towards the end of the race. Hello to Stephen Murray in the chat and Mr. Coleman from Fishy Motorsports as well. He said hello.
Yeah, thanks, Fish. Thanks, Mr. Coleman, for all your hard work during the week saving that replay for us. You did us proud.
Poor bloke had to run off his phone and it cut out halfway through. So we'll do what we can with this replay. I think we've got all the cars. So
Yeah, so it looks like I've got all the cars here, so I appreciate for the boys coming forward and giving me a replay file for tonight. I just want to do a big shout out to Jill and Jervis Bay. Welcome aboard. Let's get this race underway, Luke, shall we?
let's do it.
So all the cars have taken the grid. There appears to be, I believe there's 33 cars all on the grid ready to go. Sandown's a bit of a tricky one, coming down to turn one. So let's see how these boys manage to get through.
Yeah, I think we should definitely keep an eye on that first one out of the back straight. And so far, there's a clean getaway. It looks like the guys are spread 4 and 5 wide coming into turn one there with Craig Friend and Andrew Hoffman tussling for the lead into turn one.
Yeah, look, definitely one of those tricky ones, as I mentioned before. Cold tyres, heavy fuel tank load in these cars, and these guys got a long way to go, so you don't want to rub doors in too early, which looks like these guys have all managed to get through and make it onto the back straight nice and early.
So far, so good. I think there might be a few issues coming onto the back straight there. And who's that? Matty Monday looks like he might have been caught up, and it's an old mate and son's car that's unfortunately got a bit of a tap and got into the wall. So
yeah, that's very unfortunate, as was mentioned earlier. That corner coming into the back straight there is very, very tricky. All you got to do is get the car completely situated the wrong way, and on the right hand side there's a bit of a dip. As soon as you get on the power, the car just decides to slide. And it looks like 3 cars tried to go through there a little bit too early on and have caused a bit of an issue.
I don't think there's ever a time where you can fit 3 cars through there. You can see here that Gary Buckland's dropped 10 positions as a result of that first turn. So, and we can see there that Simon Farrington, is up 10 spots. So he's been one of the early ones in that first lap.
Yeah, definitely right. It's one of those things. These guys racing for sheep stations. I think they might want to have a rethink about what they're looking at later on to sort themselves out. But look, that's racing, isn't it? Everyone's going early on to try and get the best possible they can.
Yeah, and look, I think even though there's 97 laps, track position is really critical here. So it's even though it's nice to be able to tuck in behind someone and save a little bit of sometimes just having that track position is enough. So for me, I'd rather be in front and defending on a track like this where there's not a huge amount of overtaking opportunities apart from turn one. So
yeah, definitely right. As Dave Collins said, lap 1, what can you say? So I might try and get a replay file of what actually happened with those cars on the back straight once these guys sort of settle down here, and we'll see how we go with that.
Yeah, and Steve Murray in the chat saying some good retro liveries out there. There is a couple of boys running very striking.
Yeah, definitely right. There are a couple of guys running some really, really good retro liveries there, so I might try and get this replay up if I can, and we'll see how we go. So it's like Gary Buckland, 3 cars have all unfortunately tried to go wide and made contact, and Gary's been the unfortunate loser in that battle. Well, actually, he looked like he got away with that.
Yeah, I think there was a Quantum branded car there that might have just come a little bit too far across when rejoining, which is quite easy to do, from that position. So, a few people up there.
Definitely right, as we now see a battle for the lead here between Andrew Hoffman. Contact has been made. Thankfully,
and he was lucky to get spun around there back into Point North, though. It's a bit fortunate. That could have been a lot worse, although it does look like carrying a little bit of damage on the front end. Interesting to see if there's a little time because of that.
Yeah, look, definitely. That's we know Hoffman's a hard racer, and he won't be too happy about that. But all he can do is push on from here and try and get forward. He is carrying a little bit of damage on that. Appears to be on that left-hand side or left-hand front quarter there, or left. Was it door? Passenger door on that Commodore. Once again, one of those beautiful retro livery paints there.
Yeah, no, I can't see the damage, but we see if that gap extends out beyond where it is now, about a second second car in front behind.
Yeah, definitely right. We'll have to keep an eye on it, and we'll go from there.
So James Boardman, he looks like he's down 11 spots, just over a second behind Jason Dibitetto there. So have some work to do to try to get back those positions.
Yeah, look, definitely, it's gonna be one of those races. These boys have got 97 laps to try and sort this stuff out. So hopefully they settle down now, and they start worrying about getting those consistent lap times. Keep moving forward, and hopefully, what you saw a lot of on split one was the guys sitting behind other vehicles were managing to save a bit of fuel.
Yeah, look, personally, I'm not very good at fuel saving, but if you can do it, then there's a lot of time to be made up in. So look after those tyres and save that little bit of fuel. And that is a strategy as well to be able to gain some positions instead of just outright pace straight off the bat and getting that track position. So a lot of these guys probably employing that tactic tonight.
Yeah, definitely. I'm like you, Luke. I for the life of me cannot save fuel.
I think the more I lift off, the more likely I am to just dump the clutch and end up just chasing my rear end around the corner.
Yeah, with these supercars, they're so touchy on downshifts that all it takes is you to release the clutch in the wrong spot, a little bit of compression lock up, and around here there's a lot of concrete walls, a lot of Armco barriers that will cause a lot of damage to your cars, which I noticed in the supercars now. Their model is quite vicious when you hit an Armco, but if you hit a tyre wall, it's perfectly fine.
Oh yeah, you can hit them pretty hard. So Dave Coleman in the chat said that Hoff's done a very good recreation of the Baywatch Ute, which you might have to find an image and put that up on screen. That's pretty good. But he's also said there that lifting does about the same as clutching, which I think is true. When you lift off the accelerator and you go into an overrun state, you shouldn't really be using any fuel. You've just got to time that well, and if you can manage to carry, maybe not accelerating for as long, but you can leave your brake point to a little bit further down the track and average out your speed without using that extra bit of fuel. Something that I probably should practice. If I can't get someone for pace, I'd love to be able to jump.
Yeah, definitely right. I'm just trying to track down a copy of this Baywatch Ute so we can actually see what we think here, and I'll see if I can nab one here at the moment. Well, I'll let Luke talk while these guys still filter through.
I might go and have a look at Matty Monday here. It flicked over to him. No, it hasn't. No, we're back onto to Andrew Hoffman, and then back onto Matty Monday. Here we go. Let's get back to Andrew Hoffman and have a comparison here. You can see the parallels between ZB Commodore and the Baywatch Ute. I think I'd probably rather one of the Baywatch people come and save me in a ZB Commodore.
Yeah, look, it's one of those things. I'm not sure if he's done a good job of trying to recreate that, but we'll throw it out to the boys. They've done a fantastic job with these liveries, and I tend to agree with you there, Luke. I think I would prefer one of the Baywatch personnel to come and assist.
Maybe Hassel Hoffman can he can come and rescue us.
Yeah, look, we'll leave that one out to the chat.
And hello out there in YouTube land to Mr. Hoffman. He's watching the YouTube channel now.
Yeah, welcome, Hoff. Griffo just said he started saving fuel straight away behind Mark Hilton, so we might have a jump on board with... if I can find him, where is he? Yeah. There he is. Right behind these boys, conveniently.
So, Andrew Hoffman has caught up a little bit there, so, that where we thought he may have had some damage and had his straight line speed, he's already up under the back of the Robbie. See Robbie, it's obviously just tucked in behind him. Strategy that might be to just save that little.
Yeah, definitely right. Like he just mentioned that you're saving fuel, so I know a lot of these boys can't do it. Hoffman, Andrew's pretty good at it, from what he tells me anyway. So it'd be interesting to see whether he tries to push this battle or whether he decides to stay behind these boys and just try and save that extra fuel, make those stops a little bit shorter. As it looks like there is a bit of a gap between Craig Friend, Paul Warwick, and now Mark Houghton, so the two boys at the front have checked out and driven away.
Yeah, look, it could be. I don't know if these guys were battling and they've slowed themselves down, or if Craig and Paul have just found a bit of rhythm early on in the piece, and you can see these guys really bunched up close together. Looks like there's also some interesting battle packs a bit further down the pack, down towards where is it, Mr. Healy, Craig Healy. He's he's only about half a second up the road from Peter Latham, and then separated by less than a second for another 4 cars back. You've got Mark Howard, Matthew Munday, Jason Dunn, Duggan. The gap out to Jeremy Bush after that.
Yeah, so I've just done some scrounging around. Apparently Hoffman's livery was a tribute to the Norman Beachy Monaro, so I have got a photo of that, so we might bring that a bit later, but it's great to see these boys getting on board and running these alternate liveries, as we see here in the 67 of Craig Healy, running, I think it's the, is that one of the green tough cars? As he's retro livery for this round.
Yeah, I'm not sure. We can see a couple of spots back there. It might be Jason Dunn's having a bit of a...
Yeah, so look, once again, a lot of these battle packs, and just want to throw back to Todd Duggan here, who's on the tail of this battle pack, running that beautiful shell livery there. Very nicely spec-macked up from Nova Motorsports.
Yeah, it's a good looking skin, that one. It's probably just licking his lips, waiting here to see if the guys up in front of him make a mistake. I think he'll be patiently playing follow the leader, hoping for an error, and while saving fuel.
Yeah, definitely right. We saw that with his brother in Split 1 race. It was an unfortunate incident in probably the last 10 laps that allowed Mark Duggan to sneak through from position number 4 and finish up P2 in the end, which was a fantastic effort.
Yeah, so that's a pretty good job.
Well, definitely. Sometimes it's good to see, sometimes it's always good just to sit back and wait behind these boys and try and save some fuel. And while they're battling hard, you can save some fuel and tyres, and you might be able to go that little bit extra lap. As there's a car in the background which appears to be slowing right down, so I'm not entirely sure who that is on the main straight that is nearly coming to a stand. And looks like it's Mr. Jason Dunn. So
Not sure what's happened.
I don't want to say it, Luke, but I hope he's not trying to practice his race starts now.
Might not be a good time.
I think that might be a bit of a bad choice of time to try and practice your race starts. But look, I'm sure Jace has had some issues there. Steve Murray's saying, "Is it a redress?" Well, that is an awfully long redress if it is. But look, I'm sure Jason will battle on nice and hard. He does appear to be pulling over, so. And now he seems to be accelerating,
yeah, maybe that might have been from an earlier incident where he's redressed. Although he's still not going very fast there, so that's maybe someone knows what else. Yeah, someone might know what happened. That's Max. Hoff says that's maximum fuel saving at work. I tell you what, he's not using much fuel there. Off he'll might even be able to show you a thing or two. He's on the lights, so
he keeps going on so.
Yeah, not really sure what's going on there. He's gonna have to, at the pace, he's gonna have to find a pretty special spot to try to get out of everyone's way. Interesting to see if he goes in the pits.
Yeah, look, because now the race leaders are coming around behind him, so this could be very interesting for Jason, and with these guys battling so hard behind.
Just wondering if he might have had a hardware failure or had another issue there.
Yeah, look, just like the real world supercars, we know we suffer hardware failures, just like these things have mechanical failures all the time, so it'd be interesting to see what happened to Jason, and hopefully he jumps on board and has a chat.
Yeah, now he's ducked in pits fairly early, so keep an eye on that as it plays out a little bit later on. So I think Dave Coleman's mentioned that he might have had some steering wheel issues. That would probably explain the slow laps around the track. So hopefully he does get the ability to unplug that, restart it, and get back.
Yeah, look, definitely. I don't want to say it, boys, but I think he was. I think he was sneakily trying to do some race start practice. Just maybe not the right time, but we might have to get have a bit of a chat with Jason and work out what's actually happened there. Hopefully, he jumps on board. So,
And a lot of Boric in the chat. We're on board with him now. He's seen pulled out to a 2.5 second lead, so he's absolutely flying.
yeah, definitely right in that beautiful. I'm not going to mention the livery's original owner, because I think that's against some terms of service here somewhere along the point. But yeah, great job, boys, on that livery. All the sponsors on there, very well done.
Yeah, it's a mean car. Doing a good job steering that thing around at the moment too.
Yeah, that's right. And it looks like Jason Dunn has rejoined the track, as he just appears to be coming back in behind Craig Friend there. So hopefully,
it's like he just tried to almost reverse it into the first corner.
Yeah, look, we've both had a bit of experience of doing that, haven't we, Luke?
Absolutely. It's good to see he's back out on track. The boys in the chat think that it might be that it's a Ford, and that's his problem. So failure of research and development, apparently.
Yeah, look, I'm not going to enter that Ford versus Holden battle because it never ends well for anyone. I'll just leave that one for the chat to argue it out. But look, it'll be very interesting when the Gen 3 cars come along, because we're going to change manufacturers for one of them. And based on a few pre-sketches, they look pretty good, I must say.
Yeah, I've only seen a few, but they do look pretty damn mean, that's for sure.
And I think putting both cars back into coupes. Right now you've got a 4-door sedan with a 2-door coupe. I know that doesn't seem like much, but I know driving between the two cars, there is a difference on board with the supercars. With that Mustang being a little bit longer in the nose.
Yeah, right, well, I'm slow in either, so it doesn't really matter.
It's just as I was watching the timing then, it looks like Mark Howard and Todd Duggan have had a bit of a coming together there, so I might try and duck back through the replay file and see if I can figure out what's actually happened with Mark Howard and Todd Duggan.
And we're on board there with Mark Howard, who's in his starting position, so I guess he can't be too displeased with that. A couple of guys showed up. Roderick Hollis as actually in the beginning down 25 positions, so I think maybe he qualified but just didn't make the grid in time. He's now only down 7 positions, so happy with that, and he's going to be to fight his way through the pack, being mostly up the pointy end of the field in split 2, so he'll be one to watch too for a lot of.
Yeah, definitely right. It appears though Roderick's now in the back of Simon Farrington in that racecraft livery, so
yep, I've said it before and I'll say it again. It's probably one of my favourite liveries going around that racecraft. It's something about it. Just tickles my fancy. See a rejoin there, and there's another car off behind the 222. So that could have been quite a close call. As you see a bit of a push up there behind Hollis.
So that was Mark Howard again. So I'm not sure whether Mark's having some issues trying to get that car stopped down into that into Dandenong there or what. But
yeah, it might have been, because I just went and said how he in his starting position, and now he's dropped back 2, so he's lost 2 for his efforts down the back straight there.
Yeah, that's right. I have managed to get the replay file up, so we might once that happens, we might jump on board and we'll see what we can do with.
Just talked up Roderick Hollis, and he's just drift spec into turn 1 as well. So it's catching the guys out tonight. Last Thursday rather. So even the best of them are having issues. So.
Well, that's exactly right. I know you and I've done some laps here, and we've done a race here together a couple of times now, and even we suffered some issues. One coming down to Dandenong, and then I don't think I've had a good run here, and I've actually made it out of turn 2 or 3 in any race I've done here so far.
I think the only time I've made it out there, I've just spat myself into the wall at turn 4. So.
Yeah, look, it's one of those things. This track can be very, very nasty. There's no real time for you to have a break, as these boys are still battling hard in P3, 4, 5, and 6 here. So it's a good
little train they've got going on here. So it's good to see that they're all still bunched up. And
as I just picked that replay up from Mark Howard, and I think I believe that's Todd Duggan in that livery we mentioned before, so I'll grab that now for us and we can have a look. So it looks like a bit of a battle's going on down the back straight here, and Todd's been forced out to the grass, which has caused him to... Oh,
dear. I actually think that maybe he's just taken a little bit too much there on the right, because I think he might have had enough room to stick in. That's unfortunate for him. Grab the green slippery stuff.
yeah, look, it's one of those things. You drop a wheel on that grass, and the minute you try and grab a brake, it unfortunately comes all undone.
Yeah, you pretty much just got to coast until you can get yourself back on, unless you're more skilled than I am. I certainly can't do it.
Yeah, I suffer majorly. Except I did a pretty good job at trying to slide down into Dandenong quite a few times in one of the races I've done recently, and I got a lot of attention. Probably wasn't the right attention for it, but these cars don't drift very well. Just FYI for those in the chat. Once you start to warm those rears up, it becomes very, very tough to try and get them back. As we jump back on board with Mark Houghton here, still the car in the lead of this train with all these gentlemen here. So
19 laps down, so they're about to cross and start the 20th lap. So it's just shy of just over 20% of the race done already. No one's tired yet, I don't think, apart from Jason Dunn having some steering wheel issues. So we might see a change in position here. Robbie Griffiths just pulled in front of Mark at one position. There's a little bit of work to try to catch up to Craig Friend.
yeah, look, that's definitely right. It's this has been a great little battle pack, and it was always going to matter of who was going to pull the trigger first. And it looks like Robbie Griffiths has now decided to get out in front and try and lead this pack and try and catch some of that gap up to Craig Friend, which is approximately 10 seconds. So those boys at the front have checked out of this race, and hopefully these boys can now start to reel them back in if they can.
Yeah, might see if we can go a little bit further back. Might see Richard Barella. Yeah. Okay, so that's a different livery. It's hard getting used to liveries when you're used to seeing people in particular cars.
Yeah, so I think I'll have to confirm with Richie, but I think this is the throwback to the old Lansvale Smash Repairs car. One of the great Commodores that was running around. I will have to confirm that with Richie.
Maybe someone in chat will know that one.
Or find a photo of it. But from memory, I think that is what that car's paying adage to tonight. I will
see him
endeavour to have a look, and yeah, that is correct. It is what they are. Just having a quick look at some other images of the ZBs. There is one of the cars painted like this, and that was the Lansvale Smash Repairs, which I think who was that? Paul Morris racing for them for a while, if my memory serves me correct.
Yeah, Richard Barella is just about 1.1 seconds in the last lap on Richard Christian, so he's now in the tow, so it might be able to stay on board these guys for a bit, see if he can close that gap. Goes a little wide right here.
Yeah, it looks like Jason Devitoto just in front in that Hypersonic racing car has had a bit of a moment coming down to Dandenong, and he's just pushed the car wide in the grass. And now he's on the same thing.
He's just locked a brake again, so it might make for a good run by Fletcher Christian up on the front straight into turn one. See if he decides to show the nose. That gap might be a little bit too big.
As it appears to be a battle between Paul Hayes up in front and... Oh, that's very unfortunate. Paul Hayes was having a go. And I believe that's a lap car. Is that Todd Duggan in the 511? That might have had an issue there. They might have had it coming together as they were coming down into turn one. Which is unfortunate. But
yeah, they might have thought of themselves out now.
Yeah, definitely. They might race on now. Jump on with Glenn, boys. Welcome to the chat, Jen. Glenn? Jump on board with you up in P9. He's dropped 2 positions, so hopefully that wasn't caused by anything you've done. Looks like the car's nice and straight.
Yeah, it should be a good time for him to head down and try to make up those 2 positions, maybe a few more. See down 4 positions. Chris Miller, I don't think we've looked tonight, is P6. They're up 3 positions and trying to bridge that gap up to Mr. Hoffman. Part of that long train that we see from P4 out to P8, P9, second of each other. Puff of smoke there is kind of just a side front.
Just managed to commentate his curse him, Luke. That's a Nathan and I job usually, so I think I think I'm the common denominator here of this curse. Is we just jumped on board with Chris, and he has pinched that front wheel as he's come down into turn 2 and 3 and just pushed on. And it's a very awkward curb if you hit it the wrong way. As it looks like James Boardman behind these boys here in the, I think it's the Castrol livery, the Castrol Commodore, which is just getting a bit racy as we come down into Dandenong with Stephen Gretsch in that Old Mate and Sons Mustang in front.
He's lost a few positions there, so he'll be looking to gain these guys up. He might seem to get a little bit racy in the next couple of laps here. Just cross the line into, I think it's lap 23 rather.
Yeah, so we've just started in lap 23 this time round. As just looking at some lap times here, so it does look like James's pace is a little bit quicker than these boys, so it'll be interesting to see what happens when he gets onto the back of him and really gets to stretch out the legs of that Commodore. See what happens here. This is where he tried to have a go last time, coming down to Dandenong, down through the back chicane. And it's a very, very risky move, but one, if you get done right, will benefit you tremendously, trying to stop that car down the bottom.
Yeah, it's hard because, when you do make a move here, you put yourself either on the outside where, where you can't really cut a lot of that second curb, or you yourself on the inside and big bouncing over the first left, which is almost certainly going to put you in a sand trap. And I know that because I've done it a lot. So, it is a good place if you can get a good run, but I think if you're not up far enough before the start of the corner, it can be quite risky.
Yeah, definitely right. You've hit the nail on the head there. I know I've done the same thing where I've managed to hit that that particular inside curve as you come down through Dandenong, as we look like there's a car off the track there. So number 65, which is Peter Latham, has had a bit of a moment coming down to Dandenong. So I might have to go back and try and find that on the Kumho Tyres replay to see what's actually happened with Pete there.
Yeah, I wonder if he was involved with someone or if he's just done that on his own. So find that it'll be good to see as he goes into the process. So he might be trying to use up his fast repair now and fill up and figure out his strategy for the rest of the race. See him up on the jacks. I don't think we've got the timing there, which we might be able to bring up soon. So that's going to see him even drop even further down 14 positions as it is right now. So Mr. Van Loon, he's down another 10. Todd Duggan behind, down 4. Jason Dunn down 9. Craig Healy is down 17 laps, and it looks like he might have retired. Completed 19 laps.
Yeah, Richie's jumped on board and said it was a Lansdale Smash Repair tribute, so very well done, mate. I managed to pick that from seeing that car's a long time out in the track, and was very nicely done there.
Steve Murray said we need a safety car. Oh, we've almost just seen a safety car appear in front of our eyes as the bit of a loose exit on the last corner there. Who are we on? We're on board here with Mark Dial.
Yeah, so Mark Dial, Paul Hayes, and Roderick Hollis are all battling very, very hard here for positions number 16, 17, and 18.
Yeah, we haven't seen a lot of Mark this season. I think the first half of the season been a little bit scarce and been busy, so it's good to see him racing again. And he's up 9 spots, so I don't think he'll be too disappointed with that.
No, definitely right. It's good to see Mark racing again. He although I think we'll have to chat to him about that window banner there, Luke. Just quietly.
Oh dear, it's this is not good.
But look,
at least he's got one of the sponsors on the windscreen.
That's exactly right. He's got one of the sponsors up there, but Nah, it's good to see Mark driving again. I know he's started to pick up some work and whatnot, which is now really hindering his sim time. So it's always good to see him in the car and giving it a go, being the founder of the series.
I think I've spent more time in my sim doing safety car laps than what I have doing my own races at this point. You see, who's that? A couple of positions back there. Is it Cullen showing the nose?
That's Chris Burridge.
Chris Burridge, sorry, showing the nose there, and that is the lapped car. I think that must be.
That's the lap
Jason
car
Cullen.
of
Yeah,
Todd Duggan in the
sorry,
511.
Todd. Yep. And it looks. Oh, and we've got it. Someone's come out loose out of that corner there. Is that Paul Hayes or Roderick Hollis? And oh no!
Oh,
And we've just seen Mark Dials come together with a lapped car, and yeah, that's not a good. You see most of the field then streak past, and like saying it's tumbling down the timing tower.
yeah, that's extremely unfortunate for Mark there. Hopefully he can get that Mustang restarted and get it going, or we might end up with our first safety car of the race here. So the boys have done well, 27 laps to go without a safety car, and it does appear that my timing is showing as a safety car is coming out. So that is extremely unfortunate for Mark Dial there. I might try and get a replay of that in a second, and we'll see what happens.
So I'm not sure how we're going to go here. Looks like we're going to see a big concertina effect into the pits as the lead pack all dive in for their first stop.
Yeah, exactly right. Looking at my timing here, I've got approximately nearly 15 to 20 cars all in the lane at the same time. As you see, our leaders jump in.
So we not only do we have a such thing as the commentator's curse, we've now got the spectator's curse. Steve Murray said we need a safety car, and lo and behold, a safety car has appeared.
Yeah, it's exactly right. So it's going to be interesting to see how these guys manage to work this one out, because there's going to be cars that are going to be in and around, as we see the Quantum Tint Solutions safety car parked up in turn 1. So we've got a lot of these cars that have got to come out of pit lane yet, so be interesting to see what happens and how these guys all settle this up at this point in time.
Yeah, so let's and we can see there that I think Warwick's just come out of the pit now. So I'm not sure if there was any mission changes as a result of that. See, he's just ducked in behind the safety car, and they're going to start their laps and figure out if there's some waiver rounds to be done.
Yeah, it's definitely right, and it looks like these guys are all going to sort themselves out here. So I might jump on board and work out a couple of replays here while the safety car is going around. Big shout out to Quantum Sim Solutions for sponsoring our safety car for this series. Big shout out to our race control guys as well.
Rumour has it that they custom wrapped that car.
Look, as long as they custom wrap it and only have to wrap it once in the season, they don't have to do it multiple times, like some safety cars from other seasons. They get very expensive, those Porsches, when you start to damage them. I know from experience.
Watch out for the old slippery airstrips, mate.
You know, converted airstrips, thank you very much. Converted airstrips. But we'll jump on board with the replay of what's happened to Peter Latham, and then we might jump on board with Mark Dial's incident there. So just give me a second to get this all sorted. As Peter Latham comes down to Dandenong, it looks like he's got the car a little bit unsettled, and
oh no, and he's had a little bit of help there.
Unfortunately, Peter has had a bit of help there by, I believe that was Matty Monday in the fishing sports car. So.
Yeah, it was. So I think Matty's either just misjudged or he might have pinched a brake, and once he hit that left-hander, there's no really coming back from that. You've got way too much speed to try to scrub, and someone in front of you. Unfortunately, that's the end result.
Yeah, so that's very unfortunate there for Peter there. He's had a little bit of assistance from the boys, and yeah, very unfortunate. So I'll try and find the incident with Mark Dial now on, I believe that was lap 26, was that Luke?
Yeah, lap 26.
My apologies,
just
guys. I'm just trying to
just a shout out to Justine Horton in the chat. Thanks for joining us.
Alright, so while the safety car's still going around, I might jump on board with Mark Dial and we'll see what's happened with the incident here. So it looks like Mark does come onto turn 4 as a car's hit the ripple strip on the right hand side there and had a big slow up. So
Yeah,
it
look,
looks
he's
like Paul Hayes.
done the right thing, and he's checked up. I think that. Oh, and look, that's just unfortunate. I'm not sure. Todd Duggan there has just got a little bit of grass, which will be the second time he's grabbed a bit of grass on the on that back straight and had been a passenger, unfortunately. So not good news there for Mark, and I'm sure Todd wasn't too happy about that either.
Yeah, definitely right. It's one of those things. Like these things are all trying to race for every bit of room they can have, and as soon as you touch the grass in these things, slick tyres, it's just hold on after that point, isn't it? I know I've grabbed them a few times, especially under brakes.
Yeah, there's not much coming back from it, so unlucky there to Mark and to Todd. Hopefully they've kissed and made up after that.
Yeah, that's one thing we like about this league, though, and I know Luke and I probably harp on about this, and I've done it with Nathan as well, is these boys race incredibly hard during the week, but by Friday, once all the tempers have calmed down, everyone goes back to being everyone's mate, and the camaraderie's there, week in, week out.
Yeah, a good bunch of blokes to race with. Shame I'm not 40 yet. At least for now, I've got an excuse to not get flogged. When I'm 40, I won't have an excuse.
Yeah, look, definitely right. It's one of those things. I think you've got a year on me, so you'll get there probably a little bit earlier than I will. But look, these guys are absolutely brilliant. Fixed setup series, so they race incredibly hard. And I guess this was one of the best series about it because you don't have to worry about a setup. You jump in the car. There's practice sessions all week. These guys do massive amounts of laps and yeah, they do an incredible job.
Yeah, they really do. There's always guys in practice sessions, which is good to see.
As we might throw to an ad while the safety car's running around quickly, and then we'll come back.
The ever-changing weather around the world. Ever-diverse terrain and roads across the world. With Kumho Tyre that has conquered all. There is no road you cannot go. Go with Kumho. Kumho Tyre.
Big shout out to our sponsor there, Kumho Tyres, our naming rights sponsor for this season of the VA Veterans. And season 13 has been one of the best ones so far. There's been that many cars that have joined. We've still got numbers joining now, Luke, and I think season 14, when it comes around, is going to be incredible.
I think so. I think, we've gone over and above the numbers that we've seen last season. And hopefully, the guys are liking the way that it's been going and see some repeat numbers again for season 14. So, we've tried a couple of things this season too. We've had 2-race sprint, which I think was fairly well received. Some people liked it, some people didn't. But by the same token, not every race format is for everyone. I think that along with the 300-kilometre races, again, some people love them, and some people hate them. So, looks like the safety car may have just pulled away there quite late. So, Paul Warwick is going to be in control of the restart here to see where he decides to go. You'd think at the apex of that last corner, try to best run that he can. Although it looks like he's checked up and going to go quite late.
And he's still holding the field up, and now it looks like he's gone. So it's been one of those things, Paul. You have to explain us through what your theory was behind that. We see a lot of cars go at that end of the chicane, and try and drive away. So we'll have to see what happens.
I think you've got to be a little bit careful there. See, it looks like everyone seems to be getting through fairly safely. I think you have to be careful because you can start to overlap, and if he waits too long until the line, as long as he's not overtaken, someone can get a good run and have him outpaced fairly significantly, without overtaking but still being able to cross the line. So, but that's worked for him, and at the moment, he's got his 0.2 gap to to Craig Friend behind him, which he's just extended out to 6/10. So it could even be that he's had a very good run through that back section, front straight.
So we just had a bit of insight into what the safety car was, and so one of our race control boys has said they decided to have a safety car pull away late to avoid some checkups in the last couple of corners. So I guess it's a very smart move.
Oh dear, and we're on board with Scotty Perrins as he's coming onto the last turn, and there's that very sketchy moment where if you've put the power down too much and you go over the wrong bump, you end up a little bit loose in the rear end, which is exactly what's happened as we see. As we see Simon Farrington
go around the outside.
Has gone around the outside between the racetrack and the pit lane exit wall there. So that's a bold move as he comes on the back straight now, and it's like he might have got a good run at the back straight. So I've never seen that one before.
Look, these boys are always pushing the limits in these cars and pushing the limits in their moves that they have. So it's good to see Scotty Perrins out there running that Autobahn livery. So that's an added adage to that Commodore.
And Hoffy's just said there's a lot of oil on the track. He thinks it's from the Mustangs, but I don't think that's it at all. I think it's just following around those fishy cars. So he needs to maybe step it up a little bit and get in front.
Yeah, look, I wasn't going to say it, but there's something fishy about those cars. And that's my joke for the week, and I'm out of here. As we jump up on with Paul Warwick from Fishy Motorsport. Looks like Craig Friend has managed to catch back up there quite a bit on Paul Warwick, so that restart has definitely helped Craig in that circumstance. And looks like these boys are going to battle on pretty hard now from this point forward.
Yeah, and Hoffman is going to be... So he's down 5 spots now, so... I'm not sure what his finishing position is, even though I did the points. I don't really pay attention to who finishes where, just if they classify or not. So,
just want to jump back quickly to Michael Power. Looks like Michael's had a bit of an incident coming down out of turn 2 and 3 on that chicane. He was stationary there for a second. There's a lot of damage to that Commodore, so I might have to try and find a replay and see what's actually happening.
Yeah, that'll be one to tag to go back and have a look at the replay. That's unfortunate, and that is an absolutely fantastic livery. I love that. I think I take back my comment about the racecraft livery being one of my favourites. I think this is just top the cake for me. That's that's quite stunning. That's good. It's unfortunate for him that he's got a bit of panel damage there, and that might slow him up. As you can see, the front left of the car there is bent, and say he's going to be speed. Decides not to go into the pits.
Yeah, look, and these cars have a bit of an issue with if you have a lot of fender damage like that or front bar splitter damage like that, these cars actually go very, very slow in a straight line. Like, they have got the modelling fairly well done with these cars on that circumstance. And all I'm hoping here is he hasn't had any other real damage done to that car, or there's no real steering damage done to it, because it was quite a tough hit.
Yeah, that's it. Look, we see here, we might go from the back of the pack and then just work our way through and see where everybody's going. We can see Duggan here. So he's a lap down. He's just come out of pits. I think that might be his second visit. Not sure that visit was not. He's not pitted under safety car, and he's down 5 spots to start. So for him, he's going to be looking to try to catch up to Mark Dial, and maybe they can maybe you can shake his hand on the way past. If he can catch up there.
Yeah, look, that's very unfortunate. The Mustang there is looking rather sad and sorry, but yeah, I'm sure these boys will get that returned to pristine condition for next week.
Yep, so he's obviously used his fast repair, which is a bit unfortunate. We move up one there, and we can see Mark Dial down 5 positions, and that's obviously his little mishap on the back straight with Todd. So unlucky for him there. So he's going to consolidate extra laps. Moving forward, got Jason Dunn down 7 spots. You know, he had an incident a bit earlier on in the race as well. That's a skipping fast here. Michael Power, we just saw that he's had an incident. He's still carrying that damage. He's got about just over 6 seconds in front to Mr. Van. So yeah, nice livery. Hopefully he's just strategically not using his faster pair and he can duck back into the pits. But we'll just have to wait and see how that pans out for him.
Yeah, look, I think that safety car really threw a bit of a spanner in the works here, because I think we had Stephen Murray doing some fuel numbers for us on Thursday night, and I think these cars could get about 32 to 34 laps out of a tank of fuel from memory, so that safety car has caused a little bit of an early stop for a lot of these cars.
So I wonder if that'll lead to a little bit more fuel saving later on, and they've just taken the opportunity. Maybe a few guys are banking on a safety car. I guess we'll just have to wait and see, and we might move up to Scott Van Loon now.
There's another car that looks a bit worse for wear there, with no bonnet.
Come on, boys, we're not even halfway yet. Look after him.
Yeah, look, we won't talk to Pecky about your repair bill there, Scotty. That car's looking very worse for wear.
The back looks good though, so whoever's behind you is good. Yeah,
we'll just try and get a camera angle to keep capturing the back of the car.
Yeah,
I think that's the plan for this one.
So we go up to Matty Monday. So he's down 16th spot. So he's not having a good time at the moment. For him, I think he's just going to have to keep his head down and see what positions he can get here. See what positions he can get and keep. And looks like he's in a little bit of a battle here. He's coming onto the back straight, and who's that? That it might be Scott Weston. That he's right up under. Well, I say he's right up under the wing, but there is no wing there, so he's right up under the fuel tank of Scotty Weston, trying to put a bit of pressure on him and claw back some positions as Scott's up 5 from his starting position.
Yeah, definitely. Look, it's one of those things that I'm not a fan of the way iRacing has these models for this particular car on the rear wing, because right now these things would be an absolute handful with the very little downforce these cars actually get from that wing. Not having any wing at all is very interesting, and still managing to hold that position to Todd Martin in front and then keeping Matty Monday at bay behind.
Yeah, so Matty Monday got a drive through, and then he got an iRacing penalty for a bad pit entry. So he's copped it. He's copped it twice over, which is why he's so far back. So no doubt unhappy with himself in that regard. See Scotty Weston up 5 positions, as we just said. A little bit of blinking there from Todd Martin, I think it was. So this is another train where if you look at this, going from from up around the 20th position all the way back, less than half a second separates every one of these cars. So plenty of opportunities here for some overtaking. It's definitely Todd Martin that's dropping in and out there.
Yeah, it's very unfortunate. We don't like to see that in iRacing, because it makes those cars very unpredictable when you try and make a move or you try and pass each other. You don't know what that car's doing. It blinks out, and then all of a sudden it blinks back inside you. And
it's there's nothing worse than when you're driving and you're following someone closely, and then they disappear, and then they jump from the second story and then just like bounce in front of you while you're trying to, you're hard deep into a braking zone. You're not sure if they're there or if they're not, or where they are. So hopefully there's no issues caused between Scott and Todd or anyone around Todd there. Might move up onto Todd Martin, Blinky Bill. So up 3 spots, tucked in behind Fletcher Christian, who's down 15. I can't really see that livery that Todd's running there.
So that looks like an adage to one of the Coca-Cola cars.
Okay, yeah, yep, I see. Yeah, I can't see a great deal on my Discord screen here, and it looks like Todd Duggan is in the pits again, just looking down at the pit stop ticker there. So he's well acquainted with the pit speed limiter tonight. Unfortunately, is a couple of positions ahead. It looks like Peter Kelleher might be, and is going too wide into the second last corner complex. So they've all got through safely.
Mark Howard and Peter Kelleher, they battling it out nice and hard in those Mustangs.
And yeah, so poor old Matty Monday copped his drive-through penalty from his teammate who was race control. So there is no favours done from race control to anyone. Done the wrong thing. That's it. Pretty fair way of looking at it.
I reckon there would have been some harsh words said between each other, between those boys during the week. But
I think usually if you've got one coming, you just cop it on the chin. All right, so we'll skip forward now to Fletcher Christian, down 15 spots. So that'll be disappointing for him, and I don't recall what happened off the start to put him 15 positions down. Although I do remember seeing one of the Old Mates and Sons cars caught up on that first lap, so it could have been something to do with that.
Yeah, it's very unfortunate for Fletcher because he's usually at the pointy end of this field. So hopefully he can do a bit of strategy here. Not strategy, Jesus. A bit of strategy here and potentially save some fuel, save some tyres, and really push hard for that last stint when we get to that pit stop.
Yeah, so they're obviously chosen to run the standard livery, which is a good one, by the way. So nothing like that. Certainly not compulsory to run a retro livery, but a bit of hard work ahead for Fletcher Christian there.
Yeah, definitely right. He's one jump forward to now Mark Howard.
Yeah, we can see down one position from his starting position, about half a second behind Matt McMillan from WKMP.
Yeah, definitely right. He's now. I might put it in the chat if you boys can work out and tell me what livery this car is. I know it's a retro livery, but I'm having a bit of issues trying to think of it. For some reason, I think it was a Craig Lowndes car. But
I was going to say that it's not an old Vodafone livery, is it?
It looks like it, but I think there was also a super cheap livery that was ran in that same style. So Dave Coleman's come through and said it was a Steve Ellery.
Steve Ellery, super cheap auto. Griffo's just made a good point too that the Old Mates and Sons guys might have actually had some retro liveries running at the time, but due to the delayed broadcast, they may have swapped those back to their standard liveries by now. So
yeah, it definitely was. So it was a super cheap auto livery on the BA Falcon that Steve Ellery did run. So I appreciate the chat. I recognise a lot of these liveries, but it's been a long time, and I'm trying to work it out. When you've got new sponsors on the old liveries, it's that little bit to try and work out.
Or if you're like me and you don't have a huge following from of past motorsport, it's a bit of a challenge sometimes.
Look, we'll get you there, Luke. It's okay. There's still plenty of time yet before you turn 40.
Yeah, not enough time. Matt McMillan from WKMP in one of the other absolutely stunning looking super cheap auto liveries. I don't know if this is now my favourite livery. I still haven't picked yet. I haven't decided. So far, it's up there. I'm a bit of a fan of these super cheap auto liveries. There's something about them that they look good. That's a very nice looking livery, and you can see he's part of he's in the middle of this train here, stretching back quite a few cars. He's not far off Peter Kelleher. He's in front of Mark Howard, Fletcher Christian, Todd Martin, Scott West, and Matty Monday. So, a lot of movement there. I don't know if we actually looked at. Did we look at Scotty Weston? I think we might have. And he's actually still battling with the blinking car back there. So, got a feel for him having a bit of a hard time.
Yeah, look, just touching on that super cheap livery. If you keep mentioning how much you like those super cheap livery cars, there might be an offer turn up in your mailbox to go and join one of the teams that runs these liveries, Luke.
Wink, wink.
Oh, look, I'm sure the team boss over there would definitely throw it out to you to go and chuck one of those liveries on that car.
I just spent $1,000 at Super Cheap for my BT50 on the weekend.
Yeah, look, I'm not looking forward to doing that because I'm about to go on that same path as well. So you just tell me whatever you do, and then I'll have to probably look at going and matching it.
Alrighty, let's move on to Paul Hayes.
One of the Scorpion Esports cars here.
very vibrant livery.
Yeah,
He's put a bit of taken a bit of paint off the right-hand side, down 8 spots. Can't see. I don't think he's been involved in anything at any of the sheets that I can see in front of me. So
yeah,
he might have just been a victim of a couple of incidents where people have been caught up. I think this was one of the liveries where Mark Dyer was involved, maybe, and he just got a little bit sideways, or perhaps that was Fletcher Christian. I can't remember, but he's doing a good job there. He's got a little bit of a gap on Matt McMillan, but he's got a bit of catching up to do there to get up to Gary Buckland and get under his wing.
yeah, definitely right. As you mentioned, I believe this Paul Hayes was involved in that incident with Mark Dial. I don't want to say it, but I think Paul was the.
I think he might have been the car in front that just got a little bit loose, and Mark had to check up. Which it's very easy to get loose there. So.
Yeah, definitely right. That's what I think happened was Paul come out, clipped that relationship on the right hand side, and just overpowered the car. Got a lot of oversteer. Next thing you know, he didn't have any grip, and then it became a drag race down this back straight, and that's unfortunately where Mark and Todd Duggan have come together and hit the Amco barrier.
Yep, not good, unfortunately. As we might just move forward a little bit now to Gary Buckland. Try again.
There we go.
So another one of the old mates and sons. That's the Mustang. It's actually quite pixelated for me. Yep, so that's the Mustang. So he's in his starting position. Again, probably not too disappointed with that in a 97 lap race, as we're just about through the halfway mark. So
Yeah, it appears as though there is some damage on that right hand side of that car. So quite a bit of damage on that right hand side, which goes all the way down to the rear fender there. So
that might be that might be what's allowed Paul Hayes to get so far up, as they try to battle through turns 2 and 3, which that takes a lot of skill to get through there too wide safely, which it looks like he might have just Paul Hayes has just picked the right time to pull out and live the fight another day.
Yeah, definitely right. Dave Coleman seems to have all these stats, so
well, he was watching the race live. I think he did just have his own incident, as Dave said. That was Paul Hayes. He's had his own little incident, which is gathering it up. So that's what's.
We might be able to get the boys in the chat to try and convince Coleman to come in and have a chat to us and give his point of view to us for the race.
We can see here that Paul Hayes is he's locked a brake and mounted the curb there, trying to make a move on Gary Buckland, who it looks like he might be getting that done on the outside. Gary might just be giving him the space he needs. As he's picked a very small gap to move into there and try to stay in the draft to prevent losing another spot to Matt McMillan. But I don't know if he's going to hold on to that. It looks like Paul Hayes has run wide and they've all come through safely. And
yeah, that's very well done by the boys there. It's one of those corners and those complexes that if you don't get right, if you hit the relationship on the right, it ends up spearing you off to the right and you end up in all sorts of problems. But if you hit the inside curb, you end up on two wheels going the same direction. So it's very well done for those boys to manage to get through there.
Yeah, and look, I'm just going to go up. I saw on the sheet that there might have been something between a couple of the guys here on this lap. So we're just going to have a look at Stephen Gretsch and Hoffman as they come down into turn 1. And you can see there, and it looks like they might have just had a little bit of a bump and speared off onto the side of the track. Once you have a bump and your wheel locks in and it digs in. Fortunately, not great news for Hoffman there. So running quite a bit up the front, it looks like he have suffered a little bit of damage from that one.
Yeah, look, that's another thing of these cars is once they get into that side draft sort of area, they do tend to lock together, and even the smallest little movement, smallest bit of netcode can cause major problems with these cars, and we've just experienced that there with not a lot of racing room out there on the right hand side of that track, and unfortunately Hoff's come off second best in that one.
Yeah, and it looks like Stephen Gretsch will be forced to redress that position, Andrew Hoffman, which is going to hurt him a lot considering the amount of spots that dropped down. So I'm not sure when we'll see that one. That one's just appearing on the incident sheet there. So we might go back. We were working our way through the field. We've got Scott Perrins up in 19th. He'll have Paul Hayes on his tail soon by the way he's charging through. He's down, looks like one position.
Yeah, definitely right. This is a great drive from Scotty Perrins. Up in position 19. Scotty's been one of those improvers from Split 3 that's come up into Split 2 for this season, and he's getting faster and faster every week as he's just sitting in the draft there of Simon Farrington in front.
Yeah, it's funny, you look at some of the faster guys, or the guys who you perceive as the faster guys, and, they seem to be finishing, 1 or 2 or 3 or even 5 places lower than they were the previous season, and you wonder if they're getting, slower, but I think it's just that everyone else is getting faster. Everyone's in helping each other in these practice sessions, and everyone's getting faster, and it's bringing the whole standard of racing up. It's not that that these top guys are getting any slower. So it is good to see the improvements that are being made from these guys that were previously in the lower splits.
We've just seen Paul Hayes have a major issue coming off that back straight there, so that would have caused him to unfortunately have a slowdown, which he will have to try and clear at some point. Hopefully it doesn't cost him too much in those positions.
Yeah, look, we might stay on with Scott Parrish. We might go up to Simon here as we see. So I think these two are in a pretty strong battle. So we see Simon Farrington's come to the inside to defend there, and it looks like he might just be about to run wide, as that's not the ideal line through that corner. He might have just misjudged having so far on the inside line to turn 1. You can see that there's a bit of a train starting to catch up behind you. So
yeah, look, just looking at that battle there, I think about 5 of these cars all pushed into turn 1 way too far and way too deep, and ended up taking that alternative line off the track there. And there was one well in the background that I think was well off the track in the grass. So as mentioned before, turn 1 can be very, very tricky if you miss your braking marker, because you're coming down there at such a rate of speed. Even if you miss the braking marker by 5 metres, you're not pulling these cars up for that corner.
yeah, that's right. And it's so easy to do when you're following someone so closely. You kind of rely on their brake mark. They make a slight error in judgment. It just doesn't take much to be out there with them.
No, that's right. We've now got a battle pack here of approximately 5 or 6 cars, with a very hard charging Paul Hayes and Matt McMillan in there.
Yeah, and Scott Perrins has taken that aggressive line, oh, look, he's taken the regular line through there, and it looks like Simon Farrington has actually, he's turning in quite early and carrying a fair bit of mid-corner speed. So far he's held him off. As I might just bring Dave Coleman. He said he's been begging me all night for this, so he wanted to come in and say hello. So welcome there, Mr. Coleman.
How are we, boys? All so far?
Thanks, buddy. Welcome on board.
Cheers,
So,
boys.
What's it like being race control for these boys?
She's tough, I'll tell you. It'd be nice if they just made it nice and easy, but everything's very involved. I'll give them credit. They like to give us a challenge.
I got to say, the rap sheet is usually the longest in Split 2. I think there's quite a few people in here, and they're all really vying to try to push the limits and get into Split 1, and everyone races hard, and it often just results in quite a few names on the naughty list.
Yeah, it's probably a bit of a different split with 2, because you got like some genuine fast guys that have just missed out on obviously making that cut into Split 1. Then you got blokes that probably they're fresh to the league and were a bit slower through the start of the season, but just every week the names are just getting for example, like Chris Miller, round 1 to 3 he was down the back, and now he's in the top 10. So it's just a credit to everyone who's improved, and all these guys are putting in the practice, which is good to see.
Yeah, huge amounts of hours for some of these guys. I wonder if they're getting faster. I certainly can't say I'm putting in as much practice. Is probably why that I don't see the gains that these guys are. As you came in there, we actually just saw Simon Farrington, Scott Perrins come together at turn 1. It's like might have had Simon Farrington under a post-race review for that. So I think he got a couple of points. Definitely wasn't up far enough taking that inside corner, and I think Simon Farrington probably a little bit lucky to survive that, as He copped a whack in the tail end, so it could have been a lot worse.
Yeah, so far he's up 18 positions, so he's definitely driving well to get up there. The one to watch is definitely Rod. I think where is he now? 8th from pit lane.
Yeah, that's right. So we're going to, as we go, we're going to go through the rest of the guys. We're working our way up, but absolutely charging. Considering, yes, he was only qualifying down another 11 positions, but to start, basically down 32nd, 33rd at a pit lane, that's just fantastic effort. So to be where he is now, to just jump on board with Christopher Burridge, another hard charger, up 14 positions.
Yeah, I've got some guys in the chat giving Mr. Coleman a bit of a hard time. Mainly he's on the team by the looks of it.
I deserve it. I give it out as much as I got to cough it.
So can you shed some, what is David the fibre optic specialist?
So hopefully there's no one from MBN or Telstra listening.
Right.
Might have had a friend go, we can move this MBN box, and the old connector fell off in the wall. So it was a slight call. Give MBN credit, they were out by 8 o'clock the next day and fixed it. So
is this why you were tethering your phone for race control?
Yeah, well, at my old place where I lived, I raced off my phone for about 3 months, and I was only getting about 20 megasecond on 5G where I am now. So
yeah, right.
The internet did well. I remember we were watching a driver, and I said, I think he's blinking, and then I realised it was me. So
everyone's blinking. Everyone's internet's poor tonight.
Yeah, so full credit to Lofty. He managed to save the day, but we'll see that probably a bit later on.
What lap did you drop out?
I think it was about lap 70. It was just before a safety car of some description somewhere.
Yeah, right, okay. It's pretty funny because I think I've got the Ethernet over power, and for some reason every now and again the adapter just switches off. So I've had to swap it to another less critical plug in the house, i.e. the TV. But then I hear about it whenever Netflix drops out when I'm racing.
Yeah, it's good fun, isn't it, when you're trying to race and the internet's flickering?
Yes, not a good feeling, and then all the cars disappear is dreadful. Yeah, not great.
So
well, the worst thing is it never happens when you're in last place. Put it that way.
So
100%.
You know what I'm hearing here?
Yeah, mate, don't believe him. I'm tipping. I can't see any comments, but I'm tipping it'd be either a one Paul Warwick or a David Kirby's wished me a happy birthday.
Well, Paul Warwick's actually wished it twice. So.
Mate, if I had I'd be racing vets 10 years ago. If I went up a year every time I wished me a happy birthday. Yeah, it's a bit of an inside joke, especially from Paul Warwick. He had a little sook once, but he's definitely given it back to me. So credit to him.
That's what
don't let up on him, boys.
That's what this league's all about, isn't it? It's always about giving it to each other, and then that's all the team rivalry as well.
You got to have banter, otherwise you're not going to enjoy it, are you?
No, that's right.
That's it.
I know Luke and I, and probably yourself, Dave, see the guys in Discord all week. They're always talking all week. So.
Well, once that flag drops, all those friendships seem to disappear.
Oh, mate, all bets are off. No team orders.
Yeah, exactly. And once the race ends, they're all friends again. So.
That's how it should be, exactly.
And that's right. That's what real world racing is too. You look at how the supercar drivers are all friends during the week and leading up to race events, but then as soon as the race is on, the gloves are off and it's on.
Gloves are off, and then they put the gloves on.
100%. It's what you got to do. You got to enjoy it. We're a community, so you might as well enjoy, the time you spend together. So.
That's it. I've just moved us up to another one, up 10 spots. Ed Cullen in what is tonight my third favourite livery, as my ranking system goes.
But your ranking system's on a scale, and it keeps changing.
Oh, it'll slide. I'm sure it'll slide. It's up 10 positions. He's got a 3-second deficit to Peter Latham in front. One of his teammates, I believe.
Yeah, definitely right. And I will agree with you on this one, Luke. This racecraft livery, I am definitely a fan of it. Very
third best on track.
Right.
What's Paul Warwick, like a 5-second lead or something at the moment? And
yeah, he's killing it at the moment.
Rob Griffiths isn't too far behind Craig, so.
Yeah, no, they're doing a pretty good job up there. What we might do now that we're at the it's about to sneak inside the top 15 of our trip back up the ladder, we might just see if we can throw up an ad for one of our other sponsors if you've got one, Cam.
I definitely do. So we'll throw up an ad to thank Logitech, one of our another series sponsors. Let's come back to live pictures now. We'll jump on board with Mr. Peter Latham, once as Luke was just mentioning, running a retro livery here. Mr. Coleman, you probably can enlighten me here on what year and what car this was liveries from.
I don't know the year, but I'd say it might be a certain black BMW, a JPS inspired livery.
I would say you've been pretty spot on all night. So it's one of those very nice liveries, and very
it looks
simple.
clean, and the rear doesn't look too bad as he comes in to pit lane from his earlier contact with a certain teammate.
Yeah, look, we'll leave that one alone. He might jump forward while he's doing his pit stop there to Jeremy Bush in the, I think it's a Locked On racing guys.
Definitely the locked on boys.
He's up 8 positions from his starting position. Jeremy's usually around this sort of place in the field, and he's kept that Mustang nice and clean. I can't say that about a lot of other cars in the field, and I think
it's going to be key. I think in the last third of the race after that last pit stop to have coming into that last pit stop to have a clean car. So that I think it's going to be one to watch.
Yeah, definitely right. You've hit the nail on the head there, Luke. You definitely need to have that clean car, because a lot of these guys would have already used their fast repair, which are allowed 1 in this series. So yeah, it's very well done to keep that car clean. Let's jump forward to Richie Morello in one of the Lansvale Smash Repairs cars, and we saw this one earlier. And another great looking livery from back in the day. I went and had a look at it to confirm before, was it actually Lansvale, and it was. So these guys have done a great job at replicating this car for Woodonga Carts and Parts at WKMP Simsports. With Richie up 2 positions, so Richie would definitely be happy with that, up in P13. He will definitely be pushing for that top 10 finish. Hopefully he's been saving some fuel here behind Peter Vermey and can use some of that advantage in the pit stop.
Just worth pointing out at this point in the race, Richard has not incurred 1 incident point, so pretty good effort.
Yeah, definitely right. I think that's a fantastic effort by Richie there to make sure that he has not incurred that incident point. It looks like we have a car stopped. I'm not entirely sure who that is at the moment, so I might try and filter through my timing screen and see what car is actually stationary on the track, which is going to be very unfortunate. I can't see the cars dropping majorly here, so we might check the track map up and see if we can see what car that is that stopped, but it appears though it has got on the move. So I might go back through the replay and see if I can figure out who that was, which is very unfortunate to see.
Yeah, so if we move forward, we've got Peter Vermey now. I still like the green eyes Mustang's got going there.
This goes back to a Craig Lowndes livery from memory. Was it the BA or the AU Falcon Colton?
AU, I think that was when he defected from HRT and went to Gibson. So yeah, AU Falcon.
Yeah, I knew it was one of the two, going back a long way. Look, Lowndes always jumped manufacturer, hasn't he?
Yeah, he's done well for himself. So
maybe Peter Vermey is trying to tell us something here. Might see him in the car next season.
Yeah, but he's having a great race so far. Just keeping it clean and keeping on that lead lap, obviously.
I think of the top 15, he's definitely the hardest charge. They're up 13 spots.
Yeah, it's not a bad effort. I think, has he got past Richard, or is he in front of Richard?
Yeah, he's in front of Richard at the moment.
Yeah, sorry boys, I'm just still trying to figure where that stock car was.
Yeah, I'm not sure if it was Scotty Perrins, maybe, who might have had a moment.
Saw Jeremy Bush, looks like he just tumbled down the timing tower as well. Not sure what's happened to him there. Looks like he might have just dived into the lane, so pulling out a pit stop there for him.
Yeah, just reading through my timing cycle here, you are right there. Dave, Scotty Perrins did have a moment, but he was coming in the pit lane when he did it. So that's the extent I'm looking for, but I'm trying to endeavour to find what happened with that car that was stationed.
So this is Peter Vermey's first season. Bets. I raced every race so far. So actually pretty clean racing. Few races with one incident this race. Only 4 at Long Beach, 2 at Watkins, 0 at Bathurst. So that's a great effort there with a top 10s and a top 5. So showing a lot of consistency on one to look out for towards the end of the season once the drop rounds are calculated and move to season 14 as well.
Yeah, look, just jumping forward, we'll keep moving forward to Stephen Gretsch, up in position number 11. He's down 3 positions from his starting position, but I've just noticed that a couple of these guys in the lead pack are now starting to pit, so these guys must be thinking they can make it home from here. 63 laps into the race, we've got 33, 34 laps to go, so we've got more than half the field pitting this lap.
Maybe if we come back to Stephen, it might be good to see Robbie Griffiths and see if he comes in this next lap and how he fares against the leaders having pitted, just to see if he, it'd be interesting to see if he gains any positions out of that or it's going to extend his lead even further.
I got a feeling his stint was approximately like 32 to 34 laps. So, what are we at now? Like lap 64. So definitely can get home from there.
Yeah, we had our strategist Stephen Murray give us all the stats from Thursday night of what these guys can and can't do, and he was pretty spot on with it. But I think the safety car threw a few curveballs at him, and we tried to get him to crunch the numbers on the fly, and he did pretty well.
Another one to watch after pit stops is Matthew Monday's back up to 8th. So he's had the early incident, a drive through an iRacing penalty, and he did take fuel each lap. We noticed in this last safety car. So he's back up there on strategy.
Yeah, I think he may still have another stop, so we might see him fall a few spots there after the pit cycles go through, but great effort to at least be green in his positions as Robbie Griffiths comes onto the back straight, and it looks like Paul Warwick there in 4th. He might reclaim a position now from Roderick Hollis as he passes the pit entrance. Interesting to see how long Robbie Griffiths pushes this out to, I think that the undercut can be effective here, unless he's really happy with his lap times. He'd be considering, you'd think, coming in soon to try to get out there for that last stint.
As he has
can see him coming in there now, so might be interesting to have a look at go on board with Paul Warwick and to see exactly where he is and where he comes out in relation to.
Yeah, another stat that Richie Morella's thrown out there that Peter Vermey raced in Split 3 last season, so another one of those guys.
Yeah, so the stats that I'm looking at are actually just were just for this season. I don't know with that, but yeah, we might actually get his total number of races up and maybe justice now that I've stuffed up his stats.
Yeah, look, we'll keep you on board this week. We might have to. I thought you were the strategist, Luke, or the an analyst.
Statistician.
The statistician. My apologies, or the analyst.
I don't analyse.
as Paul Warwick has now come past after doing his final pit stop with Craig Friend about 6 seconds behind, and then Robbie Griffiths a second and a half behind that.
So I wonder if we can see the pit strategies with Craig Friend there. Oh, geez, that's it's gone a little bit wide and snuck past. So see, they're basically on the same strategy from what I can see. So obviously he's just made a mistake there, which has let Warwick past.
Yeah, definitely. So they both stopped on lap 27 for the first one, which was that first safety car, and then they both have pitted on lap 36, with Robbie Griffiths pitting on lap 38. So Robbie is going to have those fresher tyres, or about 2 laps worth of extra tyres. So hopefully he can make advantage or use that advantage to try and start clawing these guys back in a little bit.
Yeah, tyre wear around Sandown, like obviously if you had the full stints, about 45 laps in tyre wear is actually really good around here. You can push, say, just as hard on your last lap of the stint, as your first, and still be within a couple of tenths of your best time. So it's actually a really good track for racing.
Yeah,
when it comes to tyre wear.
I find the wear's good. It's just that my skill probably lacks at the last part of the stint.
Yeah, concentration's a hard thing. Like you have a moment, you lose half a second around here easy. Like
So,
per lap, and
yeah, and it's easy to get frustrated.
You drop down in the position as well as managing traffic as well. So they're doing great so far.
Yeah, the boys
Yeah,
are
that's
fantastic, as we might jump back on board and continue to go through this loop, because I've just, no.
Oh, cursed him.
I've cursed him, Jason DiBattista from Hypersonic Racing. Sorry, Jason, I'm going to hang up the microphone here shortly. But
Well, what I might do is I might just, I might very quickly go back to Peter Vermey, and it looks like something's stopped there.
yeah, it's very unfortunate. I'm not sure what's happening with the field.
Maybe we've. While you're looking at that, I might run through Peter Vermey because I did stuff up his statistics. So he did race in season 12. So thank you, Mr. Barella. So he said 21 starts altogether. Said 12 top 10s and 4 top 5s. So and his finish position is always, he's averaging a better finish position than his start. So that's and he's led a lap too, so he'd be happy about that. Almost, even in only two seasons, he's completed 973 laps, which I don't realise how many laps we do bets just for 20 odd races. It's quite a few.
Just I might throw to an ad break here for the moment and see if I can rectify what's going on with this replay real quick. So bear with us, guys.
The ever-changing weather around the world. Ever-diverse terrain and roads across the world. With Kumho Tyre that has conquered all. There is no road you cannot go. Go with Kumho. Kumho Tyre.
So unfortunately, ladies and gentlemen, I do apologise. I'm going to have to reload this file up. It appears to be giving me some issues, so I'm going to chuck the screen back up and we'll be back in just a short break, about 5 minutes. Bear with me. All right, so my apologies there, ladies and gents. We'll kick this off again, and hopefully we have no more technical issues. And we've banned Dave from going anywhere near our fibre optic connection for this the rest of this race.
No more touching and tugging at cables, mate.
I didn't do it.
Hey, look what I did do, boy.
So I think this is where we were up to before we were rudely interrupted. Dibitetto, one of the HSR boys, up 3 spots, chasing down a almost 6-second deficit to Glenn Boyce in front. I actually think there was a position change, and we might have missed James Boardman.
Yeah, look, there may have been a change, unfortunately, but I might have to go back and hopefully load up another replay file and see if I can grab hold of that one there for you, Luke.
In the interest of trying to capture everyone, because I think we've done Mr. Barella, Peter Vermey, James Boardman. Down 7 position, so not a happy story for him at the moment. A little bit of work to do. He's got a Dibitetto in front that he's going to have to try to put a bit of pressure on. It looks like he might have got a pretty good run out of turn 4, so he might be looking for a move at the straight here, or to at least show the nose and see if he can force an error.
He's hustling 100%. How was that exit out of turn 1? Over the curb. It was crazy.
Hasn't left anything out there.
Yeah, look, because we probably have caught back up to where we are. Sorry, Steve. Paul Warwick is now taking the lead after those pit stop cycles. So, I do apologise, guys, but we seem to be back to where we were, or very close to.
Close enough. We'll make sure everyone gets a bit of airtime as we see Bourman's going to be looking to make a run, and Dibitetto, this might be the spot. Dibitetto's just had a bit of a moment and gone a little bit wide on the exit to the front straight, and you can see here side by side into turn 1. Might see Boardman here if he can make this stick, and which he has quite comfortably. So well done to him there. In order to go forwards, we'll need to go backwards because we did miss Jason Dibitetto in the HSR car. Was previously up 5 positions, so up 4 positions now, having just conceded 1 to James Boardman. He's already pulled out to a 1 second lead in front of him there.
Yeah, definitely. These boys are going to be battling hard now, and James Boardman has checked out of this battle, but I think there's a little bit more battling going on for Jason Dibitetto here with Peter Vermey behind in that green-eyed monster, which has also got, I believe that's Stephen Gretsch is behind, or is that Macmillan in the 22 Commodore that may be a lap down?
Yeah, Macmillan. Yeah, because he's definitely not showing up on tower there. So, this is twice we've looked at.
That's right. This is twice we've got Dibitetto having that side in.
Sorry, mate. We've covered we've covered your moment there twice. So this is a nice livery. We're seeing about to overtake him there and just tucked in behind. Dylan, best livery on the track tonight so far.
Can we just stop him with that, Dave?
No, we'll get there. We've still got another 10. We'll see if someone can pip the Super Sheep cars at the posts. There's still another 10 cars to go. And so we've done, this is actually, yeah, you're right, this is where we were. We had a few position changes. Vermey, we'd spoken about because I stuffed up his stats. Sorry, Peter.
Matty Monday just exited on that lap, so he went from 8th down to 18th after his final stop, so still not a bad effort.
Yeah, that is a good effort. You said he copped a drive-through and an R-racing penalty, so there's basically 2 laps there. So for him to be where he is, I think he'd probably be fairly happy with that. Although I think, he's going all right. So he was up, I think you said, into 8th. So to drop 10 positions there, and the boys might have said that there was a safety car just then. So it would have been, fortunately for him, he's probably pulled in under a safety car. Oh, sorry, I know that would be after the safety car, so all the field's been bunched up, which is why he's lost 10 spots.
Yeah, definitely right. And I think we're on with Glenn Boyce now. They're just chasing down Andrew Hoffman in that Monaro, I think it's Monaro livery, was it?
Yeah, I can't remember who it was actually, but yeah, it was the Monaro, not the Baywatch. It was just a coincidence that it lined up perfectly. So
Oh, look, I'm all for a good joke here, so that's why I threw the Baywatch car up. But no, Glenn's doing really well. He's only dropped a position from the start of the race, and we're nearly 70 laps into this race, so it's a credit to him to stay where he was. Once again, one of the cars that actually painted very nice. I think it's at Spaghetti Arms Racing, I believe, from memory.
Yes, that one is.
he's in a good position right now. If I was in that pack, I'd rather be at the back watching, have a bit of a gap to Hoffy behind me in case something does go wrong.
Yeah, well, you can also
he's in
see
a good
these.
spot to gain 3 spots here.
Yeah, because these guys, if they come together, there's you instantly put yourself up into the top 5.
Yeah, definitely right. We did see that a lot in Split 1, where cars were coming together, and the one that was just sitting behind, just plotting along, was gaining a lot of positions because of those incidents.
And he's got a nice gap to the car behind, so he's got good air behind him. He can probably just back off the throttle a little bit, look after the tyres, and just follow these boys, because these 3 in front of them are hustling. They're not going slow.
No, definitely not. And I think the group in front is consisting of Andrew Hoffman, Roderick Hollis, and Mark Houghton, with Roderick being in there starting from pit lane, I believe. So he's having a fantastic drive to push that car all the way back up there. Another one of those fishy motorsports cars.
You can already see how much of a gain Glenn's already had on the back of Hoffy already, just in that one lap.
Yeah, definitely right. We talk about that a lot with when cars are battling. The ones behind always seem to benefit because they're not trying to push too hard. They're just sitting there and they're pushing along to catch up. Let's jump on board with Andrew Hoffman here to come down towards Dandenong.
Maybe we'll do a lap on board with Mr. Hoffman. It might be see what he can see. It looks like there might be a little bit of a tussle up in front of him.
It looks like Mark's ran wide over that curb and got a bad run. Oof.
Oh, I'm not sure what's happened there. It looks like a bit of netco between Hoffman and Mark there, because that car has turned hard left, and it looks like Andrew Hoffman could be in a bit of trouble here. Hopefully he manages to get that car going and get going in a straight line.
Geez, he's unlucky there. I know that coming off the track and then just the wheel bites in and all of a sudden it spits you into the fence. That's a recipe for getting caught in the fence there, so he's probably pretty lucky in the end.
I'm not sure. I know he had some wheel issues in this race. I'm not sure if maybe that was the start of it, to be honest. Because I'm not sure if that's him going off again at turn 1.
Yeah, well, definitely is. So might have got a little bit loose, or that wheel issue has brought him undone. Will said no fun, what he's just put into the chat. So unfortunately for him, he's had some massive wheel problems.
He's done a great job there to keep it off the racing line as well and let the faster cars pass, because he knows he's obviously damaged.
Oh, look, you're done at that point, and you can see something's going on there. Whether or not he's trying to shake it out.
I don't know if he's shaking out or headbanging it, one of the two.
Yeah.
Yeah, look.
Yeah,
I've just gone back on board the replay to have a look, and it looks like he has had wheel issues. It's started to go left and right and do some weird things, so that's very unfortunate for Hoffy there, as it looks like he has parked the car.
So am I right in saying this is where we see the safety car? So we might see the Tin Solution safety car out now this lap.
Yeah, 100%. I'm pretty sure this is where I actually had my disconnect, but I could be wrong.
Welcome on board, Mark Dial, and he's joined in to say typical Holden. I spoke about this earlier. I'm going to leave those comments for you guys to argue it out. I don't want to invade into that, and I'm sure you boys don't either.
Yeah, some say the Mustang's faster. So, depends who you talk to, doesn't it? There we go, got the safety car leaving pit lane, I think.
Yeah, so there we can see we've got a better view of Michael Whiting, Fishy Motorsports. Looks like he might be just waiting for the right time to pick up the leader.
Yeah, it's the weird one actually, because it's actually Martin Loftford. Is it Lofthouse or Loftford?
It's Martin Lofthouse in that car.
Lofthouse?
So
Yeah, Lofthouse. Yeah, I'll say Lofty because I bloody always get tongue tied. So he's actually the safety car driver in this one. He's
Yeah,
does a
right.
great
So
job too.
it's weird that it's bringing up someone else's name there. What did you do? What did you do to the replay file?
No idea, mate. If I had that power, I'd change my name to James Scott or something. You know what I mean?
yeah, I'm not entirely sure what's happening. I think that happened a couple of times. We've done this broadcast with these boys. It's
Yeah, I
been,
think
A
the
few
replay
of the boys have
files.
said it's actually come up as Mike the whole time. So he's earning double bubble, obviously, on Thursday nights.
He's driving safety cars in 2 splits. Poor old Lofty's not getting any recognition here.
So Paul Warwick's pitted under safety car and given Rob Griffiths the lead.
Now, I believe if you go back to, if we have a look at that pit strategy, I have a feeling that there was Warwick still has come in, and obviously we're not seeing the feature here because we've changed the replay file. But I believe that he
He
came
pitted
in
on 27 the first stop. So
right. So I believe that this is his third stop.
this is his third stop. That's correct. So he pitted on lap 27 for the first one and lap 65 for the second because he was on the same strategy as Craig Friend was.
Right. So he might have just gifted up a couple of positions here.
But what it has done though is it has put him back in position number 4 with fresh tyres, which has given him a real chance to push hard towards the end of this race. So it might have been a smart move on Paul's part here because there is quite a few cars between himself and Robbie Griffiths, who are race leader, with Craig Friend and Chris Miller between them. So once all these cars get a wave around between these guys, I think that'll bring Paul right onto the back of these guys with fresh tyres, which could spice the race up towards the end.
it's quite remarkable the pace they've managed to do with pits and strategy. That many lap cars between them. Like he was easily about 12th then in the queue. Where is he now? Back to 4th.
Yeah, definitely right. So he's gonna be very, very hard charging, and be good to watch him see how he battles on after these guys start to cycle up the pit stop, as one of the cars now has gone in. Oh, they're still getting wave around, so that has brought Paul Warwick right onto the back of this train in P4 with all these cars getting that one lap raver down.
Chris Miller's P3. That's a pretty commendable drive.
Yeah, definitely right. And that 666 Commodore. Now, a lot say that the 666 is a bit of a curse, but it seems to be working alright for Chris. We might throw to one of our ad breaks real quick and let our guests get a drink before the end of this race.
The ever-changing weather around the world. Ever-diverse terrain and roads across the world. With Kumho Tyre that has conquered all. There is no road you cannot go. Go with Kumho. Kumho Tyre.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Currently under safety car, the Quantum Tint Solutions safety car on lap 75 of this race, with Robbie Griffiths from Fishy Motorsports out in front, followed by Craig Friend and Chris Miller in EO top 3.
So we saw an interesting call there by Paul Warwick to duck into the pits when that safety car came out. So he's got fresh boots on, and we know he's quick, so he will definitely be someone that we need to focus on over this last 20-odd laps. I think there's a chance that we're going to see some movement from him.
Yeah, definitely right. I know how crucial having fresh tyres on these cars are, and with him in P4 on much fresher rubber than the other guys, I think he's going to use every bit of those fresh boots to capitalise on this a bit.
Look, I think you've got, with his pace, he's probably got 3 to 4 laps where he can really, really, run it right out, and then they'll plateau a bit. But he has got the pace, and as you said before, Dave, the drop off isn't huge. You do get those couple of quicker laps, but then it seems to plateau a fair bit. It's a fairly consistent pace after that initial drop. So, I found the same kind of thing on this circuit. You didn't really have to push to try to match your times lap after lap. So, being that that he pretty much been the fastest all night by a fair margin, that he's just got to get past on this track, which, as we know, is hard to pass on.
Yeah, even made in P4, to get past 4 cars is still a pretty remarkable effort, but we'll see what happens, as the race goes on. But
yeah, that's right. All out pace isn't everything on a track like this, so it makes a difference. But
it's a bloody good strategy call, though. I didn't actually notice that during the race, but if this pays off, it pays off, doesn't it?
Yeah, look, for someone of his pace, and with 20 odd laps to go, I think it's probably a pretty good call from him, knowing that he can get back into that P4. Yes, he's given up a couple of spots, but to only drop back 3 positions, like I say, I think it's a pretty good strategy call. So just have to see how this plays out for him, and might just jump back onto Robbie Griffiths now and we watch as he controls the restart of this race around the last turn. See, he's gone at the apex of that last corner.
That was a good restart, wasn't it?
Yeah,
I think Chris got caught sleeping a little bit there too.
Yeah, and looking behind, Chris Miller's definitely. You can see Craig's gone with him a bit, but almost pushed out a second. So onto Chris Miller.
Yeah, definitely. That restart was absolutely crucial to make sure he tries and gets as much gap as he can to those boys behind with Paul Warwick on that fresher rubber. I know.
And we can see here these guys through turn 3 and 4 are jostling for position already, and Rod Hollis, who's so far down the pack to be currently in 5th position and battling the last 20 laps, and after that safety car, so mammoth effort by him. 14 spots doesn't really, do it justice on the timing tower there. I think it's definitely it's been a lot harder than those 14 spots. Not to say 14s are, by any stretch not difficult, but
it's
I actually had it is. I actually had a chat to Rod about his pace, and I said, "Why'd you start from pit lane?" Because I thought he might have taken some advice from me. Scops was a little bit messy, and a few of us did start from pit lane and had really good results. And apparently his fastest lap was only in practice, wasn't it? It was a few tenths off Paul, and that was the best lap he did the whole week. But he didn't feel confident enough and fast enough to start on the grid.
Yeah, right.
To race there, so he's done a stellar job.
Yeah, look, it's a good effort too. And if you're not super confident, to start at the back and try to work your way through, and what invariably, he's a track that produces a few incidents. He's like you say, stellar job there.
Yeah, that's exactly right with these boys, and as you can see now, Paul's managed to push that gap out while these boys have been battling hard to start chasing down Craig Friend in front.
Pete Vermey's still holding his position in 9th, which is a pretty good job so far.
Yeah, definitely right in the Green-Eyed Monster. Given
so what's that, up 15, 16 positions?
Up 16 positions.
So he's, again, his consistency is obviously, what's getting him so far up there. And I think for the whole race he had 1 incident. So, and it looks like the car's pretty straight, so that could have just been an off track somewhere along the line. So, even running a clean race, and you see all the guys up coming into the field, they've just got barely any incidents. You know, that accounts for a lot. These cars on this track.
Yeah, definitely. With not a lot of overtaking, not a lot of overtaking positions in this track, but I know the off tracks here can be quite catchy if you're not careful. Especially coming down the back of this back straight, you can always seem to click the one on the right hand side, and there's a very fine line between getting an off track and getting a slowdown, which I have pushed the limits on quite a few times.
Definitely a saving corner because you can actually take a lot more than you think. But as you said, if you take that little bit extra, it definitely does cost you.
Yeah, I was taking a lot in one of the races I was doing, and I think I was flirting with danger quite a few times.
And the exit of turn 1 on that outside curb's another hot spot for an off track as well.
Yeah, which we've seen a lot of cars use that exit on this race so far, where they've pushed out that little bit extra and ended up over the curb and almost flirting with the grass on the right hand side. And once these hit the grass, we've seen multiple incidents of tonight. Once they do hit the grass, it's just anyone's game after that.
So Steve Murray in the chats just said that Hollis is up probably about 30 spots, which I'd say is fairly accurate given where he started. So, and again, he might even have more room to improve on that given the length of time left in the race. The HSR boys in the background there. Potato, I think, it's just got a bit sideways coming on the back straight.
You're definitely right. And I might get you to jump in here again with me, Dave. And which car was this, the livery from? So Mark Houghton's driving the Mustang.
Is it Dick Johnson, the tree? Obviously, I think he went to the tree with that one and then been recreated a few times over the last retro rounds in supercars.
Yeah, definitely. It's really good of these boys to actually have their retro liveries on too. It goes to show how much these guys take this racing series when they put all these old retro liveries on them, but spice them up with their actual new age sponsors.
100%. I've got to admit, probably the favourite of mine would be James Boardman's, the Castrol. You can't go wrong with a Perkins Engineering inspired livery.
No, definitely right. It for such a simple car, it was one of those cars that just stood out. You always knew that it was the Castrol Commodore.
Yeah, 100%. And I like how everyone's integrated their own sponsors on it and given them their own touch. It's fantastic to see.
That's definitely right. We see it across all the splits in the supercars, don't we? Especially across in vets, they always put their own touch on these liveries, as you can tell. Like Luke's favourite livery out there has its own little touch on it.
I've got about 5 favourites.
Yeah, all of them.
Yeah, I like them all.
Oh, you just like the windscreen banner on all of them, don't you? As long as you got a front and rear windscreen banner.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
Yeah, look, it's important for these guys to make sure those banners are on the cars because they are showing our sponsors, especially Kumho Tyres coming on board this season, and then we've got Logitech as well. Quantum Tint Solutions, Parramatta Isuzu Ute. Those boys are absolutely phenomenal for coming on board with us and making this series what it is, really.
100% good support from sponsors, going to introduce a good series, and I think you guys are doing great so far, and the drivers are also doing a fantastic job.
Well, I'm sure our statistician over there, Luke, can give us an idea of how many sessions, so where all that sponsorship goes towards is putting practice sessions up these weeks, and how many hours per week are they getting practice, these guys?
72 hours a week.
Yeah, so that's 72 hours a week that our sponsors are providing to these guys for every race in the season, and there's what, is it 12 rounds?
12 rounds, 13 races if you count the, I think it was round 7 with Indy Road, the heat race there. So, yeah, there's a lot of races, but they also make it possible to broadcast as well, because that's not cheap. Cam charges a bloody arm and a leg. Coleman's hourly rates through the roof. So
If only, if only.
but there's a lot that goes into making it all happen. So it's not just those, definitely not just those, those sessions. An announcement that'll come towards the end of the season will be a new Split 1 broadcaster. A lot of people are quite familiar with who they are and their work, so we're pretty excited about that. And we'll continue to put on a pretty bang up broadcaster split 2 as well, and split 3 with Mr. Very Drivers Lounge. So I think we're going from strength to strength, so I can't wait for season 14.
Yeah, talking about season 14, I think registration's going to open shortly, isn't it, Luke?
Yep, they sure are. We're just finalising a few sponsorship things. In lieu of getting those signed off immediately or in time, we'll still throw up the registration form. So I'm wondering, having that we've only got 87 subscribers, that maybe a condition of entry will be a subscription on the YouTube channel. So maybe if anyone's watching, that you guys are making sure everyone's getting subscribed and like, because that way we get as many people watching as we can in every video that you like. Also, it helps get the vets out there to other people, and maybe one day we'll have 4 splits. I'll have less hair.
Yeah, you got 88 now, mate. I've just subscribed, hoping you'll knock a little bit off that invoice for the fibre damage under your desk. So you're welcome.
We'll see. It hasn't shown up yet, so it's only prorated.
Yeah, it's
How's the battle for the lead? They're within under a second of the top 3 at the moment.
Yeah, and we can see the battle pack is pretty tight. I'll actually jump on with great friend.
Oh, he's at a moment there, coming off that exit.
Yeah, and it looks like he might be a little bit compromised. And if you have a look here, Craig Friend and Paul Warwick are in their starting position. So they're both going to be keen to try to make up a spot. Warwick being the faster of the two and most consistent so far during the night. So we're going to see what comes of these guys in the next couple of laps as they try to sort out their final positions. Oh no, and then you can see
he's at a moment.
He's cursed. Craig Friend's come around, and that's so easy to do there, and I think it's just a bit of a lapse in judgment. He hasn't really been able to see what oncoming, and he's spun around into a coming traffic of Chris Miller, I think it is.
Yeah, that's very unfortunate there. Chris Miller in that 666 has just unfortunately had major contact with Craig Friend there after trying to flick spin that Mustang back around. That's very unfortunate because Chris was up in position number 4 at the time.
Yeah, position 4. He's driving fantastic this season. I've probably said it a few times, but he's definitely the driver who's been on the improve this season. It's fantastic to see.
Yeah, look, it sucks to see him down 12 positions there, as you can see, but obviously that's not really representative of how he's driven tonight and for the rest of the season. So hard luck to him there, and just the wrong place at the wrong time.
Yeah, look, I don't envy the stewards on that one because they're going to have to make a hard call on that one with the unsafe rejoin after causing the accident.
Well, seems like an easy call.
Yeah, it was pretty easy, but it's disappointing. But it wasn't intentional, so.
Oh, look, and it usually never is. That's the hard thing, and there's a bit of a lack of visibility at that part of the track. So
he did have a 4-second gap on him, and the thing is, we've probably all been there, and you think 4 seconds you can quickly get it around, but by the time you actually get it around and get going,
4 seconds.
4 seconds is nothing. So
it just gets chewed up that quick, doesn't it?
Yeah, but he's got what's he got on the back? Parramatta Isuzu. So hopefully he's got a hire car for next week or something to get that thing fixed.
Yeah, talking about Parramatta Isuzu, they have you seen their super truck, not the super trucks, or the new trucks for the next season of the Utes?
Oh, I haven't, no.
They're running all the lowered versions like the Ranger and all those sort of all Utes, and they sound pretty good too. I'm definitely not going to lie.
Looks like Chris has saved his fast repair, so
it's quite fortunate in that respect.
Yeah.
And that's a terrible place to come out, full of traffic, and no one's going to want to give him any room there either.
He's got fresh tyres, so hopefully he can make a bit of a charge for it. He's got Matty Monday going past him by the looks of it there.
Yeah, it's unfortunate for Chris. I think he's now just stuck in the middle of being in the middle of blue flag, so hopefully he can get back up to speed and start to really push on from this point forward.
Yeah, bring it home, get some points, because he's been pretty consistent the last half too, so.
Yeah, definitely right.
So we might run back. We haven't finished going through the rest of the field. Can't get there. We need to go to Mark Horton.
Yeah, so we spoke a little bit about before, Mark Horton running that Dick Johnson livery.
We might have actually visited this one. There's just been a few position changes. He's got the green monster livery on it. Does look pretty good, but I don't think you can top the super cheap one at this point. But we've still got 5 cars to go. Might move up the field one to Glenn Boyce, the Spaghetti Arms livery, which we had visited a little bit earlier on, up 3 positions, and no doubt on trying to close that 1.7 second gap there to Hollis to try to himself a podium.
Yes, exactly right. We were talking about before, Roderick Hollis is up in P3 at the moment, and what a stellar drive that is. Starting from pit lane.
Roughly 30 odd positions there, so he's doing a bang up job, and looks like that car is pretty straight. I think 8 incidents all night, so pretty happy with that, because that could easily be just a slight tap in the rear or a couple of misdemeanors. So have a straight car and have the pace that he has. He's going to be. I certainly be.
Hey, Vermey's up 7th, so 18 spots, which was another awesome effort as well.
Yep, absolutely. We might just go. I think on this lap there was something that might needed to be shown on the replay. Yep, there we go. Just captured that. We might have missed the incident, but and it's like he's just had enough for the night.
Yeah, that's very unfortunate for Mr. Dunn. I'll see if I can capture that or find where that is in the.
I got a feeling a safety car came out for that too, but I could be wrong. Yep, there's a safety car
again. Definitely did. So we're under the Quantum Tin Solutions safety car. See the field bunch up, so it's like we're gonna. Yeah, there's some traffic that's coming up very quick on the back of the pack here, so mustn't have got the message as they start to file out and fan off to the side to avoid contact back. See there, they're just trying to shuffle in and sort out their positions.
You can definitely see the ones that are waiting for a wave around, can't you? Sticking the nose out.
Yeah, look at me.
Yeah. So there goes Chris Miller, so he'll get back on the pack.
Yeah, you can see Mark Dial just poking the nose out there. Surprised he's not on the high beams.
I'll tell you what,
a striking delivery that was.
It's not an easy one to work out the wave rounds, because the one thing you don't want to do is call the bloke who's on the lead lap, because God, that would be horrible, wouldn't it?
Look, it may have happened once or twice in the past. I think there was a bit of a miscommunication in split 3, which took another additional safety car to sort out. But, some lessons to be learnt there, but yeah, it's hard to. I think the guys have got to understand that that everyone wants a wave round, everyone wants it to get done straight away, and sometimes it takes time to just get everyone bunched up and go through the field and figure out where everyone's at before you start to do that.
Yeah, look, I've got that replay up now for Jason Dunn, and I just want to shout out before I cross to this. I think he's been watching the broadcast back, and he's gone and thrown his retro livery on there. So in the meantime, since I've loaded up the second file, I've managed to grab another livery of his car. So it looks like he's running the Green Red Monster like a couple of other cars in the field are. But we'll go and have a look at what has happened to him coming onto that back straight now.
Kumho Tyres replay. So there's a pretty angry battle pack here that he's involved in.
So it looks like he's come down here. There's been a car off to the right, and unfortunately there's been nowhere room for him to go. And
yep, rubber band into the fence. So, and I think that's the hard part about coming through that corner is, if you are on the outside, to avoid the slowdown, you do come in pretty sharp over that right hand hump, and someone on your left, you just got to be super careful. It's pretty deadly through there.
Yeah, look, I fell a victim of it a couple of times, and it's definitely not pleasant at all when it comes down there and you've just got nowhere to go. As we're about to complete lap 90 of this race, so that leaves 7 laps to this end of this race, where they're currently a fishy 1, 2, and 3. So
Glenn Boyce will be hoping to put a stop to that. See that safety car drivers are about to classify with the amount of laps they've done, same as split 3.
it looks like safety car is pulling away from the field here. So be interested to see what Robbie does on this restart with his teammates behind, and whether there's any talking or communication going on between them. So
It would have been 100% talk. I don't know what it was though. Not privy to that info.
it looks like he has accelerated now, and he has got a bit of a jump on Paul coming down at the end of this straight. So I don't think there was any communication going on there, Dave, by the looks of it.
This would be where the fresh tyres comes into play. He's got 10 lap newer tyres. He's in a tow right now. Griffo's having a fantastic drive though. If you talk to him, he would have said he wasn't comfortable. So
Yeah, I think when you've got someone like Paul behind you, and you know he's got a lot of pace, and you know he's on fresh rubber too, I think he's pretty uneasy for his last 7 or 8 laps. You can actually see that Robbie Griffiths and Paul Warwick there have just pulled almost a second on Rod Hollis in B3.
yeah, Paulie's driving fantastic. He's going to be a great asset to this series, I think, in the coming seasons. To be honest, he's a great guy.
Absolutely, I think I'd be quite surprised if we didn't see him in split 1 next season. Fairly competitive. Seems to have.
No, that would be his goal, 100%. So
Yeah, look,
we're
he
calling
does
him
have a lot
Mr.
of pace.
5-time at the moment because he's had 5 wins, I think. So it might be 6 now. So
he's
having a great run.
He's had he's done really, really well. He's got a lot of pace and he's consistent. He's got a good racecraft, so I'm going to enjoy watching him split 1 thing.
Yeah, 100%. He'll be one to watch, so it'll be good.
He'll be rubbing doors with the big boys, where they will definitely give it back to him.
Yeah, Paulie loves that stuff. He froths on it, so he's had a bit of time off with work like before this season, so it's actually good to see him racing and race back in Victoria again.
Is it RSpec AU? I'm not sure who that is in the chat. Has said that Mark Dial doesn't have a button mapped for light flashing. I don't think he's got a relative that he uses either. Sometimes I wonder if he uses the go pedal or he actually just sits there and rides the brake pedal. Mark, you might want to fill us in.
A fun fact there, Luke. RSpec is actually Mark Dial.
There you go. He doesn't have one. And interesting too, Hoffy's just said that the safety car's at 1 position, so doing well there, Mr. Lofthouse.
Yeah, big shout out to Martin. I think there was a period in this race where he was actually doing this all on his own because Dave Coleman was having internet issues. So all credit to Lofty there, because I know how hard it is when you're doing it on your own. You're trying to drive and sort out the field and do waiver rounds and all sorts of stuff. So
look, that's phenomenal effort. So kudos to Martin for doing that, and big shout out to him. It's hard enough as it is doing one or the other, both.
He's a great safety car driver. It's actually good fun to do race control with him. Obviously, if you work well together, it makes it enjoyable. But yeah, we actually enjoy the racing, and it's good to be part of something that is well run and that puts on good racing.
Definitely not short of good racing. You can see, if you're looking in the tower, you can see there's less than a second for quite a lot of the top 20 there. So might see a few more position changes. We just scored one of the battles here between Richard Barella and Paul Hayes, with 4 laps to go after they cross the line.
Definitely right. Richie's having an absolute phenomenal race here, up in position number 11. He'll be pushing hard to get that P10, get into that top 10 like we always do. You always try and just keep pushing slowly to try and get up there, and hopefully he nabs a P10, but either way, Richie's had a great race.
Yeah, Scott Weston's also up 18, which is pretty incredible as well. Got a car around there. Looks Mark Horton, is it?
Yeah, did look like Mark Horton there, so... Oh, just as Glenn Boyce has unfortunately driven into the wall coming out of turn 4, so I'm not sure what's happened there with Glenn, or whether the car's just pushed on, but I'm sure he'll come and enlighten us in the chat with what's happened.
Richard Barella's just entered the 10, up 6. Pete Verme after P5 at the moment, up 20.
Yeah, just touching on that, looks like Glenn's actually slowing down here, so there may have been a bit of contact or a bit of a helping hand with that spin of Mark Hilton there, which I think Glenn may be redressing here because he has slowed down quite a considerable amount. So we'll try and get that replay back up for you guys, and I'll let the other boys talk while I figure that out.
Here we can see the
Currently gone
guys.
to the pit lane as well.
Oof, so that's a very late call for the pit lane unless he's suffering some damage or a meatball. That's
Yeah, I might
That's
have a
gonna be
feeling
pretty
it could
hard for him.
incident points there as well, but I could be wrong.
yeah. I think though if you go in for incident points and you do a pit stop, you get an extra 30 seconds or something. Don't you?
Yeah, I would be pretty good with my memory, but I could be wrong. Unless he's just pitted for some fuel or something, maybe, because he's only gone up there slightly.
It's a shame for him. See James Boardman up one spot, Peter May behind him up 20. Looks like they've sort of just figured out their positions for the end of the race. Everyone seems to be pretty happy in this part of the pack. Might even go further up again and have a look at Robbie today battling it out. So let me forward some people. Try going. See. Hollis and now we're up on Robbie Griffiths.
I've just got that
Turn.
replay real quick of what happened to Mark Horton, so I'll just run to that real quickly before the end of this race. So it's like Mark's had a bit of a spin here, and
Yeah,
unfortunately,
he's lost the rear on the entry into turn 1 by the looks of it.
yeah, that's very unfortunate for Mark.
You got to feel for Glenn Boyce as well. You know, he's just innocent in that whole thing, and he's obviously got a little bit of damage, which has hurt him on coming out onto the back straight too, and he's had a bit of a moment because of it. So fortunate for him too. His positions because of that. I believe that one was called no further action. Not much anyone done about that one.
Yeah, it was just an unlucky thing, really. Coming in there and as a bloke spinning in front, there's not much that can really be done about that. Really, it's just unlucky, to be honest. It's unfortunate.
Yeah, that's it.
There's nothing worse that you have that sort of incident and you're just a passenger, aren't you? And then with Glenn coming around so close behind, just has nowhere to go, and these cars are very unforgiving when they make contact.
There's nothing worse than that feeling of being that one that's stuck in the middle of the track, and as much as you want to just pick up the throttle and get out of the way, you also don't want to, do anything too, what's the word for it? You just don't want to get in the way of someone coming through as well. So it's kind of a hard thing just to sit there and wait.
Yeah, definitely right. Is that we've come down to the white flag. Last lap of this race with Robbie Griffiths currently in P number 1, with Paul Warwick in position number 2, and Roderick Hollis in P3.
And although Paul's got the fresh tyres, and Robbie looks like he might have just done enough there to hold him off. So it's good strategy call with the fresh tyres. Maybe he's made a mistake, and we'll in the green room, Paul Warwick, so we can have a chat to him and find out how that turned out for him there. That looks like they all bunched up over the line. So well done to.
Pretty sure, aren't they?
Look, there's always some in every race, but congratulations to those boys. They all work together, and they obviously must have been talking and getting their strategy right for the race.
I actually didn't know Robbie Griffiths won, so I actually thought it was Paul. So, but I'll tell you what, that is a stellar drive from Griffo. Well done, mate.
Yeah, 100%. We actually got both the boys, so we might just drag them up from the green room now.
I'll just go to an ad real quick, and then we'll drag them up and have a chat.
Yep.
The ever-changing weather around the world. Ever-diverse terrain and roads across the world. With Kumho Tyre that has conquered all. There is no road you cannot go. Go with Kumho. Kumho Tyre.
What's that, mate?
I didn't actually know you won. I thought Paulie won.
Welcome back, ladies and gents, to the final of this race with our winner in here tonight. Alongside him, with Paul Warwick. So, Robbie, congratulations on the win for race number, I think it's 9 of season 13.
Yeah, cheers, boys. That was a fantastic race. Probably one of the first ones I've had for the season where I've actually been out the front a fair bit and been able to just work on a race strategy as opposed to frustration in the middle of a pack. So yeah, I had good battles all the way through, but I enjoyed the race. It was fantastic. Thanks for that.
How did you feel knowing that Paul was behind you on fresh tyres after that last safety car? I mean, that would have been pretty unsettling for most people.
Yeah, actually, the setup for me, the first 2 stints were bulletproof. It was fantastic, but for some reason, the last stint for the whole, like after about 10 laps, the fronts were just kept on understeering terribly. So I was pretty happy not that I was happy to see Craig take out Chris, but when those 2 guys went, I thought that's a bit of breathing room. But then that last safety car, I thought, oh, Paul should have me easy here. And we were in Discord together, and I just kept saying, if you want it, you can get it, because I'm just struggling with the fronts. But anyway, I think he was kind to me there towards the end, but no, it did come together well. Bit of a struggle with setup, as I said, but otherwise, I didn't really feel under pressure. I was happy for him to take it if he get a good run. It was good anyway.
Look, mate, it was a good drive. Obviously, only up a couple of spots, but fairly consistent for the whole night. I think you only had 4 incidents, right, which is a stellar effort, and you led for 27 laps. So, looking back at that, apart from the incidents, that's a pretty clean race.
Yeah, I was pretty surprised at the end. I actually thought I had no incidents. I couldn't remember. I thought I remembered going a little bit wide in turn 1 once, but that was it. So I'm not really sure where it came. I might have just rubbed the back of Mark Houston at the very start of the race, maybe to pick up him. But anyway, I had no difficulties through the race. But that's probably the luck of being out the front. You get a little bit more air to move around in, and a bit safer.
And no issues with lap traffic, through the night.
Yeah, the boys are brilliant. The guys have got blue flags. They all jumped out the way pretty quick. So kudos to those blokes. I had no difficulty at all getting through any of the lap traffic.
Well, congratulations on your first win for the season. I'm not sure if you're aware that puts you at the top of the table before drop rounds. So congratulations. You're currently leading the championship. I'm not sure if you're aware of that.
Yeah, I've been leading for a while, but I think that'll change when the drop rounds come into effect, because Paulie's missed 1 round completely and was in split 3 for the second round. So when his 2 drop rounds come, he should come further up there. But it should be still very close at the top, I think, and with Hoffy as well.
Well, congratulations on a great race and a great season so far.
Yeah, cheers, mate. Yeah, it's been good.
Paul, congratulations on P2. Got to say that strategy call with the pits, with that last safety car, we weren't sure if it was going to pay dividends. We thought it might have been a stroke of genius coming out and having such fresh boots that late in the race.
No, I probably could have saved it, especially with the other safety car after that. Probably could have saved it, but after I saw Craig take out Craig Friend take out Mr. Miller, it was a fishy 1, 2, 3, so we was happy with that, and second place is good enough for me. So that's where we kept it and drove it to the end. Griffo did a mad job. Same with Rod. Rod from pit lane to third. Next level. Fantastic.
We spoke about that a few times during the broadcast. That's just an insane effort to come from that far back to find yourself, on the podium. So, that's such a good drive by him. Fastest lap of the race for you. Well done. Did you contemplate not taking that last pit stop and just running the tyres out?
It was a bit late at the end there. I just ducked in. It was telling me I had probably 6 laps short, which, like I said, I would have been able to save, but I'm a shock and saver. But yeah, just decided to jump in while I had the chance. I had a pretty good lead at that stage, so I knew I'd come out pretty close to the front. But yeah, no, it wasn't really. It was just trying to get it to the end, and I probably jumped in there a little bit quick before, because it came up when I was, heading to just before the pit entry. So sort of stuff it, jumped in and grabbed the fuel I needed and came back out, and then she turned out the way it did. So fantastic effort from the Fishy boys. Pretty stoked about it all. Have a 1-2-3 lockout is it's great. It's great for the team. And only a few rounds left to go. So hopefully we can keep repeating this and keep the boys up the front. Be good.
Well, congratulations to the Fishy guys and to you, Paul and Robert. Paul, do you want to say you've got anything to your sponsors? Do you want to group them all together?
Yeah, West End Motor Group. Big thanks to them. Isuzu Utes, Parramatta. DC Shades, Relax Game and Fishing, Precision Sim Training, Infinity Designs, and Adrenaline Images. Say thanks to everyone and our sponsors and all the support that we get. Also, Battery Warehouse as well. Sorry, I forgot about that one.
Probably.
Yeah, got it in there at the end. Thanks to all the sponsors. Thanks everyone for watching. It's been an incredible series so far. I can't wait to run out these last few races and see where it all pans out. But regardless, it's been great. So thanks to everybody.
Robbie, you want to say anything, or you think he's wrapped it all up?
You've got all our sponsors. I just like to thank the sponsors for you guys, the Kumho Tyres, Quantum Tint Solutions, and the Logitech G guys, and yourselves, of course, for doing the broadcast for us. And that's about it for me. It's another shout out to Rod. That was a fantastic drive. I think drive of the night from pit lane to where he got to P3. So that was pretty awesome. Good to see. That's
I'd
about
agree
it.
with
Thanks,
that.
mate.
All right, good stuff. Cam, Dave, anything you guys want to say?
Big congratulations to Griffo. It's well deserved. I'm not sure if this is your first season or second season, Griffo.
Second season, mate. Yeah, I got a couple of wins last season, but the competition's pretty stiff this season.
It's a great drive, mate. It's good, and you got the doctor behind you, so he would have been putting the pressure on.
Yeah, actually was relatively calm in chat, so it wasn't too bad.
Well, with Paulie, he can't talk and drive, so you're safe there.
Can't do two things at once, unfortunately.
What you have to do is start getting him to try and talk and make him make a mistake. Like just
That's the spirit. Yeah,
just start singing or doing something.
One quick question for you is: Griffo mentioned that the front tyre where it went. Do you reckon this probably for you, Paulie? Do you reckon the fact that it's probably staying out in front was probably more front tyre wear than being in a tow?
At the start, I was behind the boys and it wasn't too bad. It really didn't really change much for me. I thought it was pretty good all the way through with tyre wear. I did struggle exit of the slow corners, the one leading onto this straight and the one onto the front. But yeah, no, it didn't really make a huge difference. I noticed my lap times chasing them down at the end there. I got the fastest lap. I did, but I didn't really even notice. I didn't feel like a fast lap. So I think a red mist came over and I was just trying to chase down Craig at the time. And then, like I said, once he had the unfortunate incident with Mr. Miller, it was fishy 1, 2, 3, and it wasn't gonna push any harder or do anything. I just said to Griffo, just don't stuff it up, and we've got a good finish on here, so that's basically
well done, boys.
Yeah, definitely well done, boys, and just a big shout out to Rod. I'm not sure he's joining us tonight, but stellar drive to come up into P3 for rounding out that top 3 of the podium.
Drive of the day for sure.
Yeah, definitely right. Starting for pit lane, but would have been the smart move by the looks of it. Trying to stay out of that damage and the bit of carnage a bit back there, and he's managed to push on and make it up into P3.
Well, thank you everybody for tuning in. Thank you to Paul and Robbie for jumping in, and Dave for also jumping in halfway through the podcast. Before we let Dave pull the plug on this, as he is so good at doing, and we might run through some ad breaks. Thank you to Kumho Tyres, Quantum Tint Solutions, Parramatta, Isuzu, and of course Logitech G.
Yeah, definitely right. And I'll run those ad breaks in a second, but I might just drag these guys out and we'll just run through the top 10 real quick for the finishing, and then we'll get to the ads. So guys, thank you for joining us for the race as we run through the top 10. I know we sort of skipped past that. We'll just get that up real quick and get that sorted for the race. So your race winner for this week was Robbie Griffiths in position by the 1, Paul Warwick in P2, and then Roderick Hollis from Fishy Motorsports in P3, which is podium for all the Fishy guys. Down in P4 we got James Boardman, then position number 5 Peter Vermey, followed by that was Jason Dibitetto in P number 6, with Stephen Gretchen in position number 7, Jeremy Bush in P8, Richie Varela having a phenomenal drive down there in position number 9. He got into that top 10 eventually, and then Paul Hayes is P10.
And good drive too. There's a lot of other guys down further, which we don't have time for. Scott Weston, special mention, up quite a few spots. Gary Buckland, I know he's up too, so quite a few big movers that we spoke about during the broadcast as well. So good racing by all those guys too.
Yeah, definitely right, guys. It was absolutely phenomenal to see. So I'll just move the screen down further. We've got a lot of movers and shakers in the field, and a lot have been caught up in incidents, unfortunately. Shout out to Mark Dial, unfortunately having to park that car early due to a engine issue. It's just one of those things. So hopefully we see him back racing next week and bigger and better than ever. So with all that being said and done, guys, thank you for tuning in for Split 2 this week. I'm going to start looking at wrapping the stream out here, and we will see you next week. So unless Luke has anything else to say, good night, everyone.
It.
Have a great
Thanks,
week.
boys.
And
Thanks,
we'll
Dave.
see
Thanks,
you
Cam.
back at Spa next week for a 200-kilometre race.
Stuff. See you guys.
The ever-changing weather around the world. Ever-diverse terrain and roads across the world. With Kumho Tyre that has conquered all. There is no road you cannot go. Go with Kumho. Kumho Tyre.